is
Welcome to
popping?
the Halloween stream. Welcome to the
Woo!
Halloween stream. All right. So who should reveal their costume first?
The gay one.
All right, fine.
Yeah, no one's ever gonna reveal. Shit.
I am supposed to be Eminem from 8 Mile, but I don't know if y'all really think that I.
Nah, it looks like it.
Well,
You take the glasses
you,
off,
sir.
just as you got it. Eyes kind of like.
I can't see, but yeah.
I'm supposed,
Hey,
fuckers.
I'm supposed to be Eminem from 8 Mile.
The Mexican version.
Yeah,
that's fucking great. Yeah, I got my sword. I got my rum. I'm good to go. I'm a full pirate right now.
Hey, man. So, like, are you supposed to be like a super old-fashioned pirate, or like?
Dude, I'm just my Sea of Thieves character. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, Crimson just said something hella funny. RG Energy's feminine.
Man, listen.
Yeah, that's good.
Eminem.
I'm gonna give Ronnie a lot of like pictures to use for this, aren't I?
You have.
Yeah, but that's what Eminem wears is a hoodie and a beanie. I already knew his costume. He didn't know mine.
Well,
no,
you know
that was RG Energy I was talking about.
Yeah. No, I don't really know. I'm so used to doing like you look like a motherfucker that's cold. Ronnie.
I mean, like,
I just like I'm
it's raining outside, so it's kind of cold.
I'm either
nice
like
and cozy right now.
Here, or I'm a Jedi, or I'm something from Star Wars, or something nerdy, or another.
You're like wearing a suit or something, yeah.
I've done anime for the past 3 years, so I wanted to suit it up. This year I was like, that's a nice looking pirate jacket. Like, I don't think you can see it, but there's like fucking embroidery all over this shit. Like
you see,
I made this costume for pretty cheap too, like 2 weeks ago.
See, I was gonna wear an Akatsuki costume, but
if you were doing that, I would have worn mine.
Well, no, but so look, it's getting here piece by piece. It's not all coming at once because each part's getting shipped from different countries. So
you ordered something and not in time for Halloween?
Yeah, man.
I ordered this hat last Monday.
No, dude.
When they ship it, bro,
ordered it
$12.
I ordered it, dude. I ordered it in September, and it's like coming piece by piece, bro.
Is it coming from
you
Palestine?
Look at shipping time?
Is it coming from Palestine?
Yeah, too soon, bro.
Is it? I mean, dude, I get fish from there for work.
It got blown up.
No, I swear to God, we still get fish like every week from Palestine because we have to get stuff from the Red Sea.
They still sell stuff?
I don't know how they're getting here, dude.
I mean, Russia still sells stuff too, and they.
Russia has an army.
That's
and
very
infrastructure. All right, let's get off this topic. This is a Halloween. This is a Halloween.
Yes, this is a Halloween stream. It got blown up, Ronnie said.
But so I was thinking that we start with the history of Halloween first, and then we talk about like exorcisms, and then we talk about like our own like
stories. Oh, I'm ready for spooky stories.
I want to hear people's ghost stories, man.
I've got a good one that actually happened.
What?
I have a couple.
You know what?
Too. But I want to start with that.
No, I think you had a good idea. Let's kind of ease into that. That way we don't blow our load right at the beginning of the stream.
Exactly. Let's let the
all right.
Well, let's let the chat also give us maybe some of their stories too. That'd be cool. I have no on Discord, so if you guys want to write something out, just message me on Discord.
I thought I have something up too, but I thought Pilgrim was going to join us tonight.
I thought he was as well.
Thought this was his big premiere.
Yeah.
Yo, if he shows up, well, he's a wizard, so he's never early or late. But if he shows up as Gandalf or Sauron or some shit, that'd be.
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with him on stream anyway.
Hold on, I have to check my compass real quick. All right, we're heading in the right direction, boys. Keep it going steady as she goes.
What are you pulling up, Damia? Because
Well,
I was gonna pull up something.
I have that article we were going over before. If you wanted to go over that, but
yeah, well, I have something from the Library of Congress here.
I thought you were going to say Alexandria, to be honest.
Yeah, that shit got blown up for sure.
Yeah, that shit definitely got blown the fuck up. You damn Romans. Not you. The other ones.
So
yeah, let's just do
apparently,
that one.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is from the Library of Congress. What it says here is carving pumpkins, trick-or-treating, and wearing scary costumes are some of the time-honored traditions of Halloween. Yet, the Halloween holiday has its roots in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, a Gaelic word pronounced Samhain. Oh, I completely messed up that. A pagan religious celebration to welcome the harvest at the end of the summer when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor saints. Soon after, All Saints' Day came to incorporate some of the traditions of Samhain. The evening before All Saints' Day was known as All Hallows' Eve and later Halloween. Here is a look at some of the origins of the classic Halloween traditions that we have.
Wait, pause.
Yeah,
pause. Go on, Rolla.
Well, I was going to say, what is it, Samhain?
Yeah.
Reminds me of it's a debaucherous holiday as well. It reminds me of the Daedric.
Pilgrim.
Oh, what's up, Pilgrim?
What's up, buddy?
It reminds me of
what's up?
Reminds me of in Skyrim with the Daedric god of debauchery, not debauchery, fucking what is it? Manipulation, Sanguine, Samhain. When you show up to his realm, it looks very much like a Halloween party. It's kind of weird. I could see Bethesda's doing that.
So I have a question for you guys. I know Rollo and Roman are Catholic. Pilgrim, are you as well, or
Christian?
I was raised
so
Christian.
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of remember like celebrating, not necessarily celebrating, but during Catholic elementary, we would have an All Saints Day where you dress up as your patron saint. Do you guys remember that? Yep. You guys did that?
I did that for CCD. Yep. I went to Catholic school, but I did do that for CCD. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you didn't go to Catholic school?
No, I went to Catholic school light every Tuesday.
Well, I know what CCD is. It's pretty much like after hours, like Catholic studies. Right?
I went to Catholic school
for half school all day and then go to that.
Okay.
I went to Catholic school, but I only went for like a year, and the 1 year that I did,
well,
we actually had to dress up as our patron saint.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring that up, because I mean I could be mistaking it, but I always thought All Saints Day was like when you dress up as your patron saint and kind of like study the different saints and whatnot. And of course there were always like 50 Saint Peters.
Yeah, what saint were you?
Saint Brendan.
Oh, and really? Just chose your name?
Well, that's your patron saint, is it not? Your name?
Yeah, isn't when you choose your, what is it? You choose like your
name?
Like if you have like you have two middle names basically afterwards.
You know what? You might be right.
That's what we did.
Yeah, that actually is what it is.
I had to write a whole paper on Michael the Archangel and why I chose him, and then
I forget. I'm not. Ironically, ask my mom who my patron saint was, because I think you choose it at baptism. Like the parent chooses the patron saint.
Oh, that I could be wrong, then. I don't know.
That's something like that.
Well, I'm Christian. You're Catholic, right?
Huh? I'm Catholic. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Christian, so they might have changed.
Oh, I thought you were Catholic.
I don't fucking know what I am anymore, dude.
Well, no, I thought you were born Catholic. That's what
I was born, like some form of Christian or Catholic. I don't even know at this point, to be honest with you.
Rollo, what's your saint?
I'm the patron saint of rum.
And
No,
yeah,
I actually
Good choice.
Rolo was crucified on the cross to save our sins.
no. I actually all I know is I got to pick one, and it was Michael the Archangel. So, like,
Ronnie, shut up.
he was badass, and he had a big ass sword and some wings and shit.
What's funny about mine is that my middle name's Gabriel, and my mom named me after it.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Damian laughed and it made me laugh. Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. It was just like it was. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you, Roman. That was just funny as hell. I'm not trying to embarrass you on your channel. I just like I can't help myself sometimes.
No. But so like, what's funny is
the way you said it. Like,
I'm named after the Archangel. But then, like, what's funny was that when I was when I got my like confirmation, Gabriel was actually the saint that I chose. So like, by all technicality, my middle name's actually like Gabriel twice. So I'm actually technically RGG.
Gabriel.
If you want to get technical. Yeah.
Gabriel.
Well,
Gabriel.
Well, you can combine the two and just make it Gabriel, and you'd be fine.
Oh my god.
You know what?
So that's funny you say that, because when like my parents were picking out baby names, my uber religious mom's aunt was like, name him Gabriel. My mom was like, I'm not gonna call him Gabe all the time, so no. That's just, I mean,
I chose the right name.
All right, so
you know what, bro? I should just keep my mouth shut, bro. Like,
let's move on with the article.
So
you better not be fast.
So, before I read this, did y'all's kids carve like pumpkins and stuff?
Hell yeah! I made Boba Fett's helmet when I was like 5.
I did this one. I wish I had a picture of it. I did this one in high school.
No, I don't think I ever did.
Really?
You never carved pumpkins?
Bro, I do it we do it every
I can remember.
Your parents didn't let you?
You missed out.
Oh no, yeah. Halloween was evil. We didn't do that. But even then, I don't think I've ever carved a pumpkin. I think of.
Yeah, I did this one in high school where, it was like 3 pumpkins stacked on top of each other, or 2, and the top one was throwing up the insides of the pumpkin on top of the other pumpkin, and the hair, like I made the throw up into hair. And as Pilgrim knows, my art gets a little wild sometimes. So
it's pretty cool though.
It was funny, but it I like doing little transitions like that when I do like physical, like sculpting or painting.
We did a really cool star one year, my mom and I, because we would do it every year because she'll like get all the seeds and then she makes like roasted pumpkin seeds. And
my mom does that too. They're so good.
Fucking slap, bro.
Salt it with just a little bit of salt. Keep it super
she
simple.
Puts a little bit of salt on, but she puts like some spices like coriander and other shit on there.
My mom just salts them, and they're so fucking good, dude. I love pumpkin seeds.
My mom used to pack me a fat bag of them to go to school.
Yeah.
With. Everybody would be like, "Let me have some." I'm like, "No."
It's such a good snack.
It's so good, man. We didn't do it this year, unfortunately.
Seeds are like just. I think seeds are just like good though too. Like, but so like apparently, when we would be carving pumpkins, we would be warning off evil. It says here that the actual like tradition of carving them originated in Ireland using turnips instead of pumpkins. It is allegedly based on a legend about a man who was named Stingy Jack, who repeatedly trapped the devil and only let him go on the condition that Jack would never go to hell. But when Jack died, he learned that heaven did not want his soul either, so he was forced to wander the earth as a ghost. The devil gave Jack a burning lump of coal and a carved out turnip to light his way. Locals eventually. What?
I said, well, at least he didn't go to hell.
Locals eventually began carving scary faces into their own turnips to frighten away evil spirits. That's actually crazy.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
something that
Started with turnips.
I feel like I've
Yeah.
heard that before, but
How big do turnips get?
turnips can get pretty big.
Really?
Yeah, they can get pretty large.
But you can
hold on.
wait.
How
But
big are turnips?
a turnip is a root. It's not a squash.
Yeah.
Like
No,
a
it's
pumpkin
it's
is.
a root. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, how did they hollow it out and carve it like that?
they
Or
probably
unless,
didn't even hollow it out. They probably just
yeah,
carved
they probably just carved it little like
and like hung
images
it up
out
in
of it.
front of their
Yeah,
door.
I'm gonna
yeah,
come back
yeah.
to this. I mean, I like turnips. How would you carve it? How would you carve into a turnip? Like that's
Well, you
weird.
just carve like you whittle it, and then you hang it by
Yeah, but-
itself from your door frame, and it would ward off evil from coming into your house. Is what I assume.
I guess, but like, do you think
Damn
that's
it,
big
you
enough
did
to like
Damn
carve
it,
a
you
face
did it.
into though? Like, I don't know. Maybe a small one.
Damio, you're muted.
Right.
Pull this up.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah. So people do carve them.
Huh.
People still do it. Ah, that's really cool, actually.
Huh.
I actually never thought of this.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not much different. Like you
Okay,
just
that's a little creepy.
yeah, that one's
It's freaky.
If I saw that in front of a house, I'm not trick or treating it.
that looks like the mask I just wore for the thumbnail.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro.
Oh, this
If
one
I
looks
saw
like
that-
Ronnie.
That's
No,
eyes.
sorry, this one does with the one tooth.
If I saw that in front
Yes.
of a house, I would kick that down.
Yeah, you
I'm
would.
not gonna
I
lie.
wouldn't walk up to that house.
Yeah, you just wouldn't go up to it. I'd be like, these guys are a little bit different. I gotta check out what's good with this crib.
So the festival of Sahim marked the transition to the new year at the end of the harvest and to the beginning of the winter. Celtic people believed that during the festival, spirits walked the earth. Later on, Christian missionaries introduced All Souls Day, November 2nd, which perpetuated the idea of the living coming into contact with the dead around the same time of year. So I guess they say that ghosts are walking. What the hell? They say that ghosts are
there's the
walking
witching
the earth
hour and stuff like that.
November 2nd. Bro, what are these costumes?
Demons.
In order to avoid being terrorized by all the evil spirits walking the earth, the Celts donned disguises so that they would not be mistaken for spirits themselves, and they would be left alone.
Yeah, okay,
So
so
that's
let me
what-
not be mistaken for an evil demon by dressing as an evil demon. That's just makes perfect sense.
Trick or treating. There is much debate around the origins, but generally there are three theories. The first theory suggests that Celtic people would leave food out to appease the spirits traveling the earth at night. Over time, people began to dress as these unearthly beings for similar offerings of food and drink. The second theory speculates that the candy boon stems from the Scottish practice of guising, which is a secular version of souling. During the Middle Ages, generally children and poor grown-ups would collect food and money from local homes in return for prayers for the dead on All Souls Day. Geysers dropped the prayer in favor of non-religious practices with the inclusion of songs, jokes, and other tricks. A third theory argues that modern American trick-or-treating stems from bell-snickling, a German-American Christmas tradition where children would dress in costume and then call on their neighbors to see if the adults could guess the identities. In one version of the practice,
like a really weird sexual act.
I was gonna say, it sounds like something you get imprisoned for these days.
Telling you, he was bell snickling me in the alley.
in
Ronnie?
one version of
What did he say?
No, Ronnie, please clip that for us later.
Oh, fuck you.
In one version of the practice, the children were rewarded with food or other treats if no one could identify them. So basically, whenever we went trick-or-treating as kids, we were supposed to be blending in with all of the other evil beings walking around.
What does that say about Yoda?
What?
I'm kidding. Little kids dressing up as shit like that. I'm just joking.
Trick-or-treat.
Alright, I want to know where the fucking smell my feet, take your pants down came from. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
I
going
don't know where that
down
came from.
I'm just saying that's so weird for a little kid to say to somebody. Like,
Yeah, like trick or treat, smell my feet. Yeah, nah.
Can't follow.
yeah,
Where?
right. I'm not following. Dude, I had a friend say that one time, and I just grabbed a piece of candy and left. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I didn't know that like the theory about black cats came from like Halloween. I didn't know that. The idea of being spooked by black cats dates back to the Middle Ages, when these dark felines were considered a symbol of the devil. It didn't help that centuries later, accused witches were often found to have cats, particularly black ones. People began to believe that the cats were a witch's familiars, supernatural entities that would assist in their practice of dark magic, and black cats and spookiness have been linked ever since.
That's just their dark Patronus. No, seriously,
Black,
I'm not even gonna lie. I had a black cat cross my path 3 times this week. So if I'm not on the stream on Wednesday,
I don't know. That one, I
Black
think
cats
that's more.
pulled up on you.
Yeah.
dude, bro, I literally had like
Some black cats.
driving home. One came past. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird.
Driving through the hood.
Yeah,
I'm going back to work. Another black cat passes my path. Not the same cat either. It's in different places.
Black cat was, hey, motherfucker.
I don't think I buy that though.
Drop your
Like,
pants.
I don't buy
That's
the
always
black
been
cat thing. Like for me, I've always been like
It's superstition. It's like breaking a mirror and throwing salt over your shoulder.
exactly like
Yeah.
I've always ever since I heard that I'm like cats aren't all that bad.
Well, I raised a litter of cats, and one of them was black, and
The family leave. I'm
what?
sorry.
Well, I mean, we had to separate the food from the other cats, but
You didn't hear what I said, did you?
no. But I was also doing my own joke there that I think went over your head.
I said, did the father leave?
Well, yeah, and then I said we had to separate the food, and I was going to say we had to separate the water as well. But
oh no.
I digress. No, it's like, dude, that shit's just superstition. No one says anything about
Nice,
cats
Crimson.
reading. Yeah, seriously, Crimson.
Okay, so I guess the reason that the colors are black and orange comes from the traditional Halloween colors of black and orange, also traced back to the Celtic festival. For the Celts, black represented the death of summer,
Celts.
while the orange
symbolized it is Celts.
But go on,
What?
go on. I was just correcting your English. Go on.
Oh, well, no. Well, no, but so like the basketball team, the Boston Celtics,
It's
that was
different
why
than
like
Celtic.
It's
different than Celtic.
all right. Bobbing for apples.
Make a walk this fucking plank.
I have, by the way, never ever done this.
I've done it. It's extremely
the game
hard.
of bobbing for
Dude, I just did it on Friday.
Actually, Roman, could you please demonstrate what bobbing for apples looks like?
No, I'm not falling for that. That is not happening.
If I was a little drunk, I might have done it. To be honest with you.
The game of bobbing for apples has been a staple at Halloween parties for many years, but its origins are more rooted in love and romance. The game traces back to a courting ritual that was part of a Roman festival honoring Pomona, the goddess of agriculture and abundance. While multiple versions existed. The gist was that young men and women would be able to predict their future relationships based on the game. When the Romans conquered the British Isles in 43 AD, the Pomona festival blended with the similarly timed Samhain, a precursor to Halloween. So basically, you're like,
All right,
trying to find a loved one.
so if you don't catch an apple, your girl's just like, all right, I'm done with you.
Wait, Rolo, what does it look like?
Fuck you.
Just do it, dude.
No,
One of you do it.
I already bobbed for apples in this costume on Friday. All right. Okay.
Did you see any cute women
What did it look like?
or men? I don't judge.
Yeah, you do. No. But yes, there was cute women, but no.
Dang.
I did not catch
Okay.
Dude, my friend went straight in, bro. He went straight in, just grab that shit. I was like, all right, I don't have to do this now because you just beat me, so I'm good.
Well, he has his mouth open.
Bro, he just fucking went in there like a fucking dolphin, like dove in that shit. Just was like, yeah.
Are you talking about Zach?
No,
Roland?
Zach didn't catch one either. I don't think.
Oh,
Talking about my boy Tim. Tim just fucking. I was like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to do this. Because they were like, oh, everybody's got to do one round at least, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And fucking.
so
I suck bobbing for apples. My jaw's not like I can't unhinge like a serpent. Like,
well, you are a snake, so I would expect that you should.
I had half a mind to make a fake profile picture for this stream just so I could be a snake for Caleb because he fucking hates snakes, but I didn't. So
Caleb hates snakes.
Oh, he's terrified of it.
Or write out the word snake and tape it to your head.
What? Oh, right up the word snake. Yeah, that would have been funny.
Why don't you just do that, Roland? Nah, but
What?
playing pranks often varies by. It often varies by region, but the pre-Halloween tradition known as Devil's Night is credited to a different origin depending on the source. Some say the prank started as a part of the May Day celebrations, but Samhain, eventually All Souls Day, also included good-natured mischief. When Irish and Scottish immigrants came to America, they brought with them the tradition of celebrating Mischief Night as part of Halloween.
Yeah,
Mischief Night's
Scroll down.
Mischief Night's tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, the one day.
So while we're on this topic, I do want to say my dad wouldn't give so the saying is trick or treat, right? So my dad, like some years he would set up he would turn all the lights off at the house, and he's a musician, so he'd set up an amplifier right next to the door and the window.
Oh my god.
And he'd set up a speaker outside, and he'd fish the wire through a window and have an amplifier sitting in the dark right next to the door. And they'd come up, and right before all the lights are off, and they the kids would come up all spooked out. And right when they're about to touch the doorbell, my dad would just rip a cord on an electric guitar and scare the shit out of them.
That's fucking hilarious.
Or he would and then he would dress up as Kiss and stuff to scare the kids. And he's had a couple kids run off of the property crying.
Oh, dude, I scared the fuck out of this one.
So funny though. It's so funny though. Which I'm sure you guys could tell. That's why I'm such a troll, because I come from that type of humor, scaring little kids.
The one time I was, my mom was sitting out front for trick or treating, and I just had a mask on, just over my eyes, and a fucking rainbow shirt, and I just had a bag of Skittles. And the one time
you had a rainbow shirt on,
I jumped out from behind the bush. No, I jumped out from behind the bush, and I just went, taste the rainbow, and just threw a bag of Skittles at this, and he fucking booked it. It wasn't big. It was like one of the little small ones. I didn't even throw it hard, but he got so scared of me screaming "Taste the Rainbow."
He was just homophobic.
Yeah, he was. Apparently.
Is
He's
it?
gay now.
Do you yell "Taste the Rainbow" when you're with your boyfriend after hours? Or
Dude, I was like fucking 10.
Taste the rainbow.
That was a meme when I was like 10.
Ronnie says, dude, once I was trick-or-treating and I was gonna ring the doorbell and some lady scared the duck out of me and she was sitting in a rocking chair.
Dude, I've had so many people, like, my neighborhood used to go so fucking crazy with, like, there was haunted houses on every street, and, like, you couldn't get the candy unless you went through, and there was all these different, like, people would have, a ton of fucking mannequins up, but one of them would be a real dude who's just, like, standing there, or, like, two of them would be, or something. Like, people came up with the coolest shit back in the day, and now, like, my neighborhood's pretty much dead. Like, I'm gonna sit out front on the porch tomorrow, and probably I'm gonna get, like, maybe 5-10 kids will show up, you know. But
Trick-or-treating got, like, lame, bro.
well,
Because
Halloween's my favorite holiday, so no matter what, every year I still sit out there and try.
I'm not a big.
That's my
holiday
favorite
person.
holiday. I'm sorry.
No,
Yes,
really?
yes. Christmas is definitely the best holiday.
You might.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Christmas is the best, but Halloween's my favorite because it lets everybody be something they want to be, have a ton of fun. It's better when you're an adult than it is like.
Yeah, I just like
But-
Christmas because that's when people get together, and I mean Thanksgiving kind of too, but
I kind of hold like Thanksgiving and like I like Halloween more, but I kind of hold Thanksgiving and Christmas around the same line because my family does the same shit for both of them.
yeah, it's like I come from a huge family, as you guys know. So like Christmas is the only holiday where all like my mom forces every single child to
That's
come
the
home.
same kind of thing for my like, but for my Christmas, it's like not just my family. It's like my dad's side, my mom's side, and like fucking everybody's there. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a big to do. Whereas like for Thanksgiving, we just alternate every other year. But like Halloween, I miss the days of like fucking 200 people coming to our house, like the one, you know what I mean? Like just the whole neighborhood coming through. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
think that
go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that kids just don't want to trick or treat anymore because this current like generation is more like obsessed with like being on TikTok and stuff.
I don't think that's
Nah,
really true, man.
I think more so we just came out. Like, I mean, there are still plenty
It's
of
because
people.
because
well,
of
no,
that's
yeah,
what
I mean, that's what I like. There's still plenty of like parents rather who legitimately are still afraid of COVID and all that other stuff, and they don't want to go house to house. That's personally what I think. We're fresh out of the pandemic. I think that's.
No, you're totally fucking correct.
I typically think, or I mean, I'm inclined.
We
to think
actually
that.
had more trick or treaters at 2020 than we had in previous year.
Well, what about 2021? And like that.
Same thing.
Oh, really? Well, that's
Yeah,
good to hear.
it's gone up.
Aren't you more in a rural area of Oregon? If I'm remembering.
Yeah,
correctly?
kind of. We're about like 10 minutes from a city that has a smaller city, about 30 minutes from Salem. But we're also
Salem?
like
That's a
just
spooky
down the
area.
road.
That's a spooky area.
Dude, one of the stories I'm gonna tell later. My sister has a house, lived in a house there. I swear, like I know that thing had demons in it. Like
That's
yeah,
I can't wait for that segment. I got.
Oh yeah,
I got a story.
yeah. We're gonna get into that. Like that's. I feel like that should be the final segment. To be honest with you.
Well, I am interested. What is the actual plan? Rolo, you wanted to cover this, and then what else? I mean, Roman.
This. We were gonna just like kind of roll into the spookier shit after that. Like, if you want to do like talk about whatever, like exorcism, skinwalker stories, shit.
Right.
If you had any like spooky stories that didn't happen to you, and then by the third segment, that's all of everybody's spooky stories. Like anybody who wants to pop in, if you're listening, I'll listen to it. Like if you want to send me a DM on, like you want to hit me up on Twitter or send me a DM through Discord, I'll read that. I'll read your specific story. Like legitimately, like no meme shit, Ronnie, but like I don't mind reading other people's stories who can't be on tonight, you know. And I did invite quite a few people, so I don't know if more people are gonna pop in, but we'll see what's good. So after Halloween, I guess we can roll into like spooky shit that we heard about, whether or not we believe it.
I think it'd be interesting to talk about just supernatural stuff in general.
Yeah. Well, Crimson, you can definitely
Ghosts. Well, Ronnie, we know you're too scared to jump in anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But
On the subject of Halloween, real quick,
yeah,
I just want to jump in and say, this year I guess it is related, but I went to my first haunted house.
ever?
I don't know what all of them are like, but they rushed you through so fast that you couldn't even look at the rooms.
I was such a little scaredy cat when I was a kid. Like so there's this thing at our church that they would throw on every Halloween called the Monster Mash, and they would set up this huge haunted house, and I used to get like so scared of it because like they would do things like make spaghetti where you like put your hand in the bowl. Like as a kid, you know, it sounds funny now and silly now, but like, as a kid, you're like, oh shit, like, you know, I used to get
the one haunted house I went to as a kid. I don't remember it. I just remember hearing about it. It was at my grandpa's work, and someone grabbed my ankle because they were laying on the floor and they grabbed my ankle.
I hate
that.
And
I was like 4 or 6 or something. I don't know how old. And I screamed and just started stomping on his hand.
Yeah, that's before.
It's my grandpa's coworker. So he comes out later with his hand all bruised.
Yeah,
that's
funny,
like back when you could actually grab the people if they didn't have a wristband on. Like now you have to do a wristband. Like,
so
we live close enough to like what is it? Eastern State Penitentiary, right, Roman? So like when you go into, no one can hear you.
Yeah, and it doesn't say muted, so I think your mic is.
Yeah, your mic just like messed up. But when you go to Eastern State Penitentiary, they really ask you like, can you be grabbed or not? And they'll give you a different color wristband. I don't know if it still does, but it used to glow. So it could so they could tell like, all right, grab that person and like fuck with them. But you literally go through Eastern State Penitentiary, and it's haunted. Like it's a haunted penitentiary, and they put you through the cell blocks. And like if you want to, you can sit in like one of the haunted cell blocks.
I heard someone actually screaming there, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, creepy as hell, man.
We live.
Y'all know about that? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I live near Alcatraz, and that shit. Like my mom asked if I wanted to like they have tours where you can spend the night there. I was like, I'm good. I don't really want to spend the night in Alcatraz.
I do it. Yeah.
What I was gonna say is like it's one thing to go to like a Halloween themed like haunted house.
And going to
I don't think I'd be willing to like go to a known house that had a whole bunch of murders and stuff inside of it.
Like, I'd do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be fun.
I would. Okay.
But have you ever heard that?
I would do it.
Have you ever heard that house in? Go.
You first, Kogum. You were gonna say something.
Have y'all heard that house? I think in Tennessee or somewhere where is a haunted house that got closed down because like they would hire like ex-convicts and like they would basically torture the people who went through the house.
What?
It is a real thing. Like they had like so when you go in, you have to sign a waiver, but the contract is very vague but like they like waterboard people and like do all this like crazy shit that was literally torturing someone.
I could see that happening. I mean, there's so many haunted attractions around us around this time. Like we have the farm. We have that fucked up hayride that's not far from us. That's like really fucked up.
Yeah.
Where like you literally drive through this one area that's a circus, but it's closed in. I don't even know how to really do it. It's like a tunnel, and like
I know what you're talking
will
about.
jump on the thing. Like they will jump on the thing and grab you like by your shoulder and like hang on to it.
Or
Like
you
people
can
like
you
even though you know
or
it's
you
all
can
fake when you're going in, like it scares the shit out of you. But there was this one
Or you
chick.
Like
can get
they do that as clowns.
Oh, it's not just clowns. Like you go through all these different like every year they change it up. So like the one year I went, it was like clowns, Texas Chainsaw Massacre type shit, and
or you can go to
Clowns,
Six Flags and you
children,
can
and
get
like
chased by
girls in
zombies.
dresses. Those are the worst.
dude, there was
Those
this
are just
one chick.
scary.
I have to say, she was killing it. Like the lights were flashing, like a strobe light, and she was like contorting her body and literally like walking towards you as
But
she did it. And I was like, as she got to me, I was like spooked, but then I was like, yo, like I gotta tell you, that was fucking impressive. And I just kept walking. I was like, that was like really good acting. And they're like all like teenagers and shit that just do it. And I was like, this chick, you're good, yo. Like that was awesome. And she looked at me and she goes, thank you. And then like smiled. And I was like, okay, cool. She stayed in character. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, and then you go through this one part of the woods that you have to walk through when they get you off the hayride. You gotta walk through it. You like walk through part of the cornfield and then you go to the woods. But they have like fucking tons of fog machines. So you can't see anything. You just have to keep following a light and a light and a light and a light. And like people will just jump out of the fog like right next to your face, and you're like, what the like I'm telling you this multiple times. I literally almost just socked somebody out of like but I never have. But I've gotten
I was so scared I was going to do that because that's my natural reaction. Like I've socked my sister in the face one time.
It was my natural reaction. And the one time I got really close and stopped it, but they had this other one there where it's a maze, but it's like parts of it are blow up to the point where like they're to your face, but you can still get through them. So you have to literally just like reach your hand through and just walk like through the wall, crushing you. It's nuts. It is nutty. And like somebody will just like be waiting there at the side of the wall when you come through or whatever. Like when I went through there, I couldn't see a damn thing. I could not see anything. I was like, I'm just gonna book it through this. Like it went hard, dude. A couple places around here go crazy with it.
so I wanted to
I haven't been
ask,
in Denver, but
this is more so for Daimyo and this is more so for Pilgrim because Roland and I have like had this conversation. We had, we had like we had like a paranormal pod a long time ago. But I wanted to ask Daimyo and Pilgrim, did you guys ever believe in any of the urban legends that like kids would like talk about, like the Slender Man, the Rake, that like kind of thing, or no? Did you guys ever like buy into that stuff?
No, but when
Bigfoot.
SCPs.
like Bigfoot, yeah, like that type of stuff. Chupacabra.
I
Yeah, like that kind of
buy
thing.
into Bigfoot, but I think Chupacabra.
Yeah, like Bigfoot. I did for long. Like I had like actually I had my dad's old boss. He had books with like newspaper clippings, and like he was a hardcore squatcher, and so he let me borrow all that stuff. So I'd be like 12 years old reading all this Bigfoot shit. I don't remember most of it, and even I'd like to believe,
I
right,
think
that something exists.
Bigfoot. The myth of Bigfoot comes from the Gigantopithecus.
I was gonna say that. See,
But-
that's
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that's real.
But-
Gigantopithecus survived along humans. So
other stuff, like I was thinking about it before. So there's
guess
this dude.
monster is plausible.
I think it was in Chicago. I think, or it might have been in Philadelphia. I forget exactly what city it was, but some guy like goes into his basement and sees a flying fox hanging
That's
upside
Philly.
down. That was Philly,
That was in
right?
Philly, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got interested, and I'm wondering if vampires came from like sightings of flying foxes, because it's so big,
Oh.
and it's got a I know it doesn't suck the blood of
no, they eat fruit.
I know, but where I'm going with this is that there are blood-sucking bats, and maybe there was a certain time where, I mean, again, I don't know like the origin or the territories of these different animals. But maybe there's a possibility that blood-sucking bats and flying foxes shared the same territory at some point, something like that. And they saw a blood-sucking bat, a smaller one, but then like had run-ins with these giant ones, and were like, "Oh shit," you know.
Oh,
So
here's another point to that. Blood-sucking bat might have an infection or a disease. Blood-sucking bat bites you on the neck, you start losing your mind because you get some sort of crazy disease, and everyone thinks you're a vampire. You got infected by it. You became one. You have 2 holes on the side of your neck. Because guess what? Back in the day, we didn't have like closed-in houses the way we do now. So I could totally see it being like, yeah, this flying, like not flying fox is because they're from, I believe they're from Central and South America. I could be wrong, but I believe that's where blood-sucking bats come from, vampire bats. And I think there is a lot of vampire myths in South America. And I also would totally think it's plausible that if they're carrying something like rabies, which bats carry, you bite somebody on the neck while they're sleeping, and they become a rabid dog, basically. So if you're rabid, you're gonna, like, you probably would kill some people and maybe even eat them. So I can see that.
So like, I'm not saying that I like disagree, but just to like get your point, you're saying that what people think are vampires are just people that like lost their mind from being bitten by those bats.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the 2 holes come from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like every vampire has 2 holes on their neck. Like I could see that. I could see that being the original reason as to why that people started believing that they gained the powers of these bats, because bats are one of the rabies vector species, which means that they can carry it. It doesn't affect them at all. But everything they bite will get rabies. Same with raccoons. Same with possums, things like that. So I could totally see a bat biting someone and having them be like, "Oh, the fuck was that?" And then people talk to them for the next day, and they're like, "Dude, like your neck, like what happened?" And he's like,
"Well, yeah, isn't that how COVID started?"
Apparently, and hashtag China, like
hashtag wet markets.
I could see. I could absolutely see somebody getting rabies from a vampire bat, and then everybody just believes that they lost their mind and became a vampire, because humans with rabies will kill. They will kill you with their bare hands because they lost their mind.
Maybe that's where Dracula came from.
Dracula came from Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dracula came from Vlad the Impaler.
Maybe study some history.
He was just crazy. Vlad the Impaler was just like insane.
You know, there's this one, I forget what her name was. I think she's from the same area, but she's this queen that would like drink the blood of virgins to try to keep her.
Yeah.
I forget what I'm talking about. I forget the name of her.
Yep, I remember who you're talking about.
And they're thinking the myth of vampires came from her as well.
Also, the guy from this would explain why it's in multiple different cultures, is because there's also the one king from the Pacific Islands who like ended up killing over 10,000 people and had like an actual like throne of skulls, and he would just kill people and eat them all the time.
What?
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh yeah. Also, this woman, I think in South America, I think it was, where she claimed to be a goddess to this village, and what happened? She was, I think she was like a gypsy or homeless, whatever. And these 2 conmen came along, used her to trick the village and give them resources. But she was like actually mentally deranged, and it got to her head. She started getting a god complex, and she would have the villagers bring up someone, I think usually a child, to her cave, to be her servants for like a month or something, and then they found out that she had been draining their blood alive and drinking it.
Well, that's who I was talking
Oh.
about. I think Elizabeth Bathory.
She was fucking.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, Countess Elizabeth Bathory.
Well,
She was
where
a
did
noblewoman, alleged serial killer. So she's like the first known serial killer, but she's from Hungary, which is not too far away from
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and she would Bethany and 4 other servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women from 1590 to 1610. And yeah, she had it in her mind that if she drank the blood of virgins, that she would also like retain her youth. But I think,
Chrome, sorry.
yeah, I mean that's completely
Can't say that word on YouTube these
But
days.
what I kind of want to say is like to Roman's point and question before was that I think a lot of these like supernatural myths and whatnot, even like Bigfoot, stem from something natural or from a human that did certain things, right? That's kind of how I view it, at least.
The one that I've always been the most curious about, probably because it's the most closest to Rolo and me, I've always wondered if the Jersey Devil's actually like a like real thing.
It was.
Because because like my whole thing is it's basically just like a winged monster that flies in like a forest and like is cursed because his mother didn't want him, so like God made him into like devil beast.
No,
and he just like
so what the real story is behind the Jersey Devil?
What's the Jersey Devil?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Roman, pull up a picture. So, if do you
Got
guys
you.
know anything about the Pine Barrens in New Jersey? So, the Pine Barrens are miles and miles and miles of like between like Pennsylvania and the beach. You'll hit them at some point where it's just pine trees, wilderness of pine trees for like miles until you get towards the beach or a certain area.
Sounds like Oregon.
And
it sounds like California, but
yeah,
redwoods.
it's like a certain type of pine. I forget the name of it exactly, but there's a ton of campsites there now. But there's also many abandoned buildings
It
within
looks
there.
like the Chupacabra.
Yeah, there's abandoned churches. There's actually Roman, that picture in the middle in the second row.
That one looks like Kevin from Up.
Roman, that one in the second
right here.
white one. Yeah, that's the one that most people depict it as. It has the legs of a goat, or the head of a goat, the legs of an eagle, and the wings of a bat or something, and the tail of a demon. But basically what was said was that there was this incestuous family that lived in the middle of those woods. And one of their children was like remarkably deformed. Like remarkably deformed. And I think that's where it came from.
Well,
also
it's kind of hard to take a deformed child and give it wings in the head of a goat. And I'm just trying to think of this in practical, logical sense that so for instance, the dragon, right? Like that could have been a large, like way back in the day. Like if we were to say that, I know you subscribe to this kind of idea that there's a possibility that civilization stemmed further than what we know. And Forrest Galante is big on this, not big, but has said this, that dragons either could have stemmed from a flying reptile at that time that was big and terrorized cities, or it could have been a very, very large bird. And it just through.
Well, I forget the name, or I don't. Okay, the what's whatever lapis, some sort of flying reptile, dinosaur, whatever. It had like the wingspan of a jet. Like that's fossilized. Like
the Quetzalcoatl.
What?
The Quetzalcoatl.
Yes.
Yeah, they were massive.
So I could maybe dinosaurs or ancient reptiles, whatever you call them, didn't go extinct as late back as some people think they did.
Well, think about it.
That's what I'm getting at.
What has survived every single apocalypse on the Earth? Birds.
Well, yeah, because they could fly to higher territory and whatnot.
They can get away. They can just keep moving.
Well, at the same time, I saw this short today. I don't know how much I I need to look into it. I think it'd be an interesting episode for my podcast, but
We could do a mega
they
podcast.
well, yeah, well, we could definitely do that. But in China, apparently, they found a 60-foot
China.
a 60-foot bone structure that looked like a giant, like the picture they showed was a giant like dragon head essentially with a long like
Why?
snake invertebrate. And my point being though, and they were saying that they thought it was like a dragon, but I'm thinking like, and especially like we really don't. As a kid, you grow up thinking about dinosaurs and whatnot, and the bone structures we have. We don't really know what the outside of dinosaurs look like. It's all guesses.
That's true.
With every single dinosaur, it's all guess. We really don't know.
Nowadays, it's a little bit different because now that we have better technology, we have discovered that there's slight imprints on certain things or very slight changes to like the actual bones that would suggest that feathers were there before.
But this is my point.
So
while we grew up, we were taught that they were scaled and that they had reptile-looking features. And now that they're saying that they had feathers, and because based off the bone imprints that you're talking about, like what I'm saying is that it's hard to really say. It's hard to really like pinpoint, a bone to like what the actual figure would look like. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would.
agree.
And who know? I mean, their arms could have just been small wing. I don't know enough about bone structure, but like a tiny little arm in the front of the chest. How do you know that wasn't pointed that way?
exactly.
And they actually had long feathers attached to them, and that they were just flightless giant birds, right?
So what?
And some birds have teeth, right? And you have to
Yes.
remember that too. Some beaks have
penguins
teeth.
have teeth. Penguins
again,
are flightless birds with teeth.
Yeah, I'm not a biologist. Or an evolutionary biologist, and I can't like. I'm not able to talk on this stuff, so I'm not going to.
I did always find the whole like dinosaur thing to be very like interesting though. Kind of like that like yeah, like we were told a certain thing, but like I don't know.
Yeah,
I always
even
thought that
if
there was
like say that now there's more evidence that they had feathers, even though there's not more evidence or whatever, I refuse to believe it just because the scales like what that's right like you're saying, because that's how I grew up on.
Well,
And so like even if maybe that's more realistic, I don't care. I'm gonna imagine dinosaurs as giant scaly monsters.
I don't
'Cause it's fun.
necessarily think that all of them
Hollow
were.
Earth theory.
I
don't know
think
about it.
I think that certain reptiles or certain species of these dinosaurs would have maybe feathers or something that we look to be feathers. Look at an iguana. Look at the way its back looks. That could totally end up looking close to a feather when it's fossilized. Things like that. So we have Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx was a flying lizard. It has wings, and it's actually in the Friday Night Tights freaking finale video that they play, where Az farts on Ryan and he falls. That's the Archaeopteryx. So that thing could actually glide, and we have many different fossilizations of its actual feathers. So what I'm saying is, I don't necessarily believe that every species of dinosaur had feathers. Just like not every species of bird had feathers on its whole body. And I don't necessarily believe that they all didn't or they all did. But I'm just saying there's total possibility that these things were feathered, especially certain ones. And I don't see why they wouldn't be, because we know for a fact that Archaeopteryx did have feathers. But these same for like indentations, for lack of a better word, that we've found in these bones could also be a vein that was going to their plumage, you know, like with a iguana or something like that, where they have these really frilly things and spikes and stuff like that. Like that's how we know the Dilophosaurus had a frill neck. That's how we know that the Stegosaurus had these really thin plates on its back that helped it with which what the fuck literally have solar panels on its back. Like that's wild.
So like there is something to like Damio's theory though about how like the T-Rex might have had like small like arms, but like
I can tell
the
you
only
what
thing that so I'm not even saying that I'm like, it's just when we would go to like museums and we would see like, the like,
Oh
T-Rex
my
bones,
god.
they have smaller arms than like, most of us would think. So like it's very well possible that they were just like giant flying birds that we like and we like never found wings. It's possible.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they were flying. They were not.
They definitely weren't. If you look at the arm, if you look at the limbs,
structure and
their
their
limb
bone
size, yeah, and like the bone density of their lower legs versus their, I mean, like
they're not hollow.
they wouldn't be able to support flight like that.
Yes, why when you look at the Quetzalcoatl compared to a T-Rex, its bone structure is entirely different. That's how you know that the Quetzalcoatl could fly and the T-Rex could not.
So I
will be honest with you. This is something that I've been into since I was a little fucking kid, like 2 or 3. Like I have so many freaking dinosaur books. And I'll tell you one thing about the arms on the T-Rex. The arms, from what we have evidence of so far, were only meant for mounting during mating.
That makes sense. Now, I actually got to get out of here, not like immediately, but pretty soon. Would you guys mind if we kind of got into the stories stuff?
Oh, dude, I'm totally cool with getting into the stories.
Oh, yeah, man, it's fine. Yeah.
Because I want to hear all of your guys' too, if you have them.
Oh, I have them.
I have a few. So why don't we kind of do like a round robin?
Well, let's see. Like, has anybody sent me anything? Like Ronnie or anybody? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I like that, Roman. You wanna kick it off and we just go around?
Sure.
Clockwise or something.
So as all of you know, but if you guys didn't, Rolo and I went to the
I'll
same.
be back in a second. All right.
Yeah, we went to the same
bedroom
high school through like 9th through 12th grade, and I think I was in my junior year, and there was this science class that I would always just take like the hall pass, and I would just like be gone for like 35 minutes, and I would never go back. But so I was going to the upstairs bathroom, and people had always said that that was the bathroom that they didn't want to go into because they felt that there was something in there, but they never really knew exactly what. So I like walk into this bathroom because all of the other ones were all taken. And so like everything's fine and cool, but like as I'm washing my hands, the furthest of the furthest like stall, the light starts like flickering. And so the like door was like locked, but there was and so like you know I see shoes going from like under it, and they're like white shoes. And so like the light is like flickering, and then I'm able to like get the door open, and like there was no one in there, but like the fact that like the lights were flickering, and like I saw shoes, and like the bathroom got like really chilly right after I found those those like shoes and stuff. It was just really really weird, and we came to find out later that like our high school was like a big lynching ground, and so there might be souls walking walking that area. So like there were people that like in my like high school have said that that's a really creepy bathroom, and I never went back there again. So yeah, but
Yeah.
that's like
Could you
one of
like hear
mine.
the footsteps
So
too?
what?
Could you like hear the footsteps from like him, the person that whatever was walking?
Well, no. So like, so like, it wasn't walking. What happened was that I first I looked at first I saw like the light, and then like as I was walking closer, I see shoes underneath the like stall as if someone was like using it. But then when I got the door open, there was like no one in there. It was just
Mm,
shoes. But like it wasn't shoes of people that were like, people like that were like my age at that time. It was shoes of like, children. But there were no children there. So like it just like creeped me out. And so like
yeah,
I
sure.
never went I never went I never went back to that like bathroom again.
Was that
So
the only kind of situation you had where you felt like there was some paranormal activity going on?
the only one at my school, but I do have another story, I'll let you guys go though.
No, please do. Go ahead.
Well, so like I was I was like 7, 8 maybe, and I was walking, and it was like, outside of where it was like outside of where I used to live. And I'm pretty damn sure I saw like a shadow person. It was like, dark outside,
Like a shadow
and
walker,
like
or
y- I
that's
don't know
like
if
the
it was a
Native
shadow
American
walker.
one, right?
Yeah, like you like have you guys ever seen that like, supposed person that you see in your like dreams? He has like, a hat, and he has like, red eyes and stuff, and you're like, meant to see him like like
Yeah,
when you're like really young.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, like it was kind of like that. The shadow person had like, a hat, but like they didn't have like, red eyes.
Yeah,
Um so like so like yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's who was I sleeping? I might have been sleeping. I don't know. All I Listen, all I know is I saw that guy, and he's never left my memory since. I might have been dreaming, it's possible. But like those are like the only two. But like other than that, I don't really have anything. Like the only other one is that like I had a very vivid dream where I was walking to work because I used to work at a theme park, and and I would have to, get off the bus, and then I would have to walk to the theme park, and on the, road there was there was a white car that, crashed into a, red car, and the people that were in the, red car died in my in my in my in my like dream and stuff. So the actual day I was walking to work, and and I was walking past, and a white car crashed into a red car, and the people inside of the red car died. So what the hell was that?
Yeah, what the fuck was that, Rolo? He's getting his spooky stuff on.
So like
What's up, fuckers?
Yeah, that's
so
so. What happened after?
so like after I dreamed about the white car crashing into the red car, it was weird because, like I said in my like dream, the people in the red car died. In real life, the people in the red car died. So I don't know if I dreamed
See,
the future. or-
it's the dream was symbolism of the white men killing the red Indians. That's what it was
Oh my
about.
God, Pilgrim. Pilgrim. All right, pull him out. We'll bring him back in when he's ready.
I just have my cult mask on real quick.
So, was that
That's a weird.
Was that this?
The what?
Was that the end of it?
Yeah. I just always
I
found
wanna
that
say
weird.
something, though, about our school.
Yeah.
When I was dating my ex, she freaked the fuck out. Yo, Chris,
What up,
voice
Brendan?
fucking mask.
Is this thing fucking with my voice here?
No, you're fine.
I had to take the pirate off just
Crazy
for
mask though. Fucking weirdo.
I'm Demon Slayer, but I had to take the pirate shit off just for the spookiness.
This is the only thing I have for like any sort of Halloween costume. So
That's the fucking
this
worst.
is what I'm stuck with. I can't see shit. Like I can only see through here. There's like no visibility in this thing.
It's okay, Crimson. I can see you.
So the story I have isn't. It's not like anything like demonic or crazy, but we had our house remodeled when I was around 6, and we moved into my grandparents' house, my mom's parents' house, and my grandfather had a heart attack in the room that I slept in when my mom was 12, and I had this. I called it a reoccurring dream as I recalled like my memories and whatnot about it. And I had this terrifying fright as a child, not being able to sleep without all blankets over me and like cocooned. And I had this memory of waking up crying because I felt someone like rubbing my back. And then I remember waking up like terrified and going to my mom and my dad in the living room watching a movie and saying there's someone in my room, and they went and checked and like no one's there, and I never really talked to them. So that happened when I was about 6 years old. I never really talked to them about it until I was about 13 or 14, and I asked my mom like, hey, did this happen? And I explained the story to her, and she goes, like, kind of subtly, she was like, well, that didn't just happen one time. That happened like the whole time we stayed at the house. Like once a month, you would like come out in the middle of the night or come to our room crying, saying there's someone in the room with you, and we would check and no one was there. And
Was it the same time every month?
I don't remember that, but it like it was something that like I didn't ever really like think of even asking my mom and dad until high school. But when I started to ask them about it, like my dad thought that it was just my grandpa like giving me comfort at night. But like as a 6-year-old, and again, like I'm not someone like I don't know like if spirits are real and whatnot, but that I always have a tough time talking about ghosts and whatnot. And like, I'm not a full 100% believer in them, but that story, like a little, this is why it's difficult for me, because I think it's a little different. You have a ghost story as a kid and it's just one single time and your parents weren't there. But when your parents are telling you like you regularly came to them and like asked them,
Right.
Yeah,
that's
a little bit different.
It wasn't malicious. It was literally like a soothing touch, like someone just rubbing your back and like sitting there
It
on
just
the bed
creeped you out though, yeah.
Well, and that's the only memory I have of it. And then I started to connect the dots that like, oh, okay, I couldn't sleep without covering my whole body until I was like 15. And it really was that bad. Like I would only, I remember, like, I don't remember the exact age, but I remember like it took until like early high school until I could like sleep without covers on my body or over my head, because I was just like that terrified of like sleeping sleeping exposed. So like that's my only like situation with it, and nothing ever. I've never like sensed anything since then. And again, it wasn't malicious. It wasn't a malicious feeling I got, or memory rather. But it's one of those things where it was hard to talk about up until like my 20s, where I was like, what the hell happened? But that legitimately like it made me really think like, okay, are there spirits and stuff? Because it wasn't like he died like in the bed. He like had a heart attack and like immediately like fell into the bedroom and like just outright died at like 60 or something like that. I think 50, 55. So that's the story that I had. Like it's not like some spooky, scary story. It's more of like just a situation where I can't explain what happened, but my parents told me it wasn't just one single time. It was a regular occurrence that I would just like get up out of bed and be like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You only have memory of that one time.
I do, but and it took me a long time to even acknowledge it and talk to my parents about it. And my mom, I was in the car with my mom, and I just kind of randomly was like, "Hey, I had this memory." I was like, "Did this ever happen?" And she's just like, "Well, it happened throughout the year, not just like one single moment."
So since we are doing a round robin, I guess we'll let Rolo go next.
That sounds about right.
Right? I mean, like, I've had a lot of really weird fucking experiences.
Yeah.
There's like quite a few that I could talk about. But I figured I should start with the house that I'm in right now. That makes the most sense.
Oh
right?
yeah, isn't it haunted?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
So, Roman, what does every person who spends a night at my house say?
They either will
That was
get
really good, Rolo. Thank you.
That felt really good.
Someone will poke them, someone will scratch them, or they will hear like voices talking like to them.
Oh my god, yeah, fuck that.
And I've had
Oh shit.
I've had people call us while we're on vacation being like, "You got ghosts?"
Wait, okay, before have you ever or would you ever pull out a Ouija board in your house?
Fuck no.
No.
Are you crazy? Hell no. Don't touch that shit.
No, do I think that whatever's here is malicious? Not particularly.
But would you why would you not?
I will say though, Roland, like there are times where like, your house will get like weirdly cold out of like nowhere.
But why would
you
you
might
not
be used to it? But
why
like,
would you not want to talk to it though if it's there?
Because all right, so it first
Ouija boards are more than just communication.
So
they're gateways.
Like for some
they're fake news.
This is invitation.
Fake news.
For some context, this house was built in like the 1920s. So it's almost 100 years old. And for some more context, the guy who used to live behind here killed himself, and this is also a Native American land, so I don't know what the fuck could be possibly going on here.
Man, you're stacking all the flags, aren't you?
Like my neighbors demolished their house because somebody killed themselves at it, and their daughter was complaining about being terrorized by this guy. They literally went to Florida for like 3 or 4 months, demolished their house, and rebuilt the whole thing. And my dad went over there to feed their cats like multiple times. And the one time he goes over there, he came back white as a ghost. And I didn't hear this story until a little bit later because I was like 4 or 5 at the time. But my dad's like, he grew up on a haunted house with an actual priest came and told everybody that the girl's name was Henrietta. And like him and all of his little siblings would see Henrietta there. And basically, like, and I saw Henrietta too. It wasn't until after I was born that they exorcised the house or whatever. But I remember my dad coming over and just being like sweating bullets and like cold as hell. And all he did was walk across our yard to feed the cats next door. And later on, I find out that he went into this house, got the cats food ready, couldn't find the cats, and then he started hearing "Happy Birthday" being played. And he was like, "Where the fuck is this coming from?" And there's just a Barbie doll sitting in the middle of the dining room.
Nope.
Yeah.
And he picks up the Barbie doll, and the back falls off, and there's no batteries in it. And he said he never ran as fast in his life. He booked it out of that house so fucking quick. And like, yeah, fuck that, first of all. But talking about my house.
Your area is haunted, Roland.
Like,
your whole area.
We have had. Well, yeah, I live right down the street from the place where they were lynching people where our school is now.
Yeah.
But,
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Our school was a lynching ground.
Before our school was built, back when lynching was a thing, they were doing that on that field.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Where our football field is, yeah.
And I know a lot of people from our school that have been like, fuck this place. I'm getting weird vibes, like in different rooms or different places. But I had an ex-girlfriend come in one day. She was bawling her eyes out after like third or fourth period. And I'm like, what is going on? And she was like, I walked into the bathroom, and she had told me before that like she has had spiritual experiences and shit like that have fucked with her, like ghosts and whatnot. She walked in the bathroom to take a quick piss, and the lights flickered, like Roman was saying, and she for a second saw somebody hanging from the ceiling, and it flicked back, and she booked it back to the point where like her teacher was like, what the hell is going on? Like everybody else is like, what the hell is going on? And she was like, I can't talk about it. Like, it's fucking nutty. And she told me, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I believe you, though, because that's when I found out. Because I looked it up. And I looked up the fact that literally right where the school was built was the fucking lynching area. And so I guess, like, back to my house, I've had experiences here ever since I was little, where like I would sleepwalk and do shit that like a 4-year-old shouldn't be doing, apparently. And like I would come out and like end up just in a random room in the house. And my mom would find me and be like, yo, are you good? I'd be like, oh, I was talking to so-and-so. And she's like, I don't know who that is. You know, and just bring me back to bed. And then none of that happened for a good like probably 8 years. And then my grandfather passes, right? And I think of my house more as like a spiritual nexus or pathway as opposed to just a haunted house. Because I think there's multiple different things that have shown up here. Like, I've had exes report cats. Like, people that live here have been like, you don't have a cat. And I'm like, no, I don't. They're like, well, I just saw one. You know, like, people that have stayed here to watch our dogs and shit. Like, you didn't tell me we had a cat. I'm like, you don't. But what really started happening first was, like, our sinks would turn on. And we have those sinks that you have to, like, lift up. It's like a little, like, the ball. You know, like, lift it up, pull it out, and, like, and then that's got the water running fully. And you smack it back down to turn it off. And I'm sitting there talking to my dad one time, and all of a sudden you just hear this noise, and we're like, what the fuck is that? And then we went in the kitchen and realized that the bathroom, because our bathroom is connected to our kitchen, we realized the bathroom sink was running. He turned it off and we still heard it. So I went upstairs. I was like, both the sinks just started gushing water. And it was turned. It wasn't cold water. It was hot water. Like you would have had to turn it to make it that. Not just like pop it out. Like literally pop it out and turn it. And we were like, all right, that's creepy as shit. Whatever. So my grandfather passes. And I'm laying in bed one day, just chilling there on YouTube on my phone, which my mom didn't want me doing at the time, right? Because I was like going to school the next day. So she's like, go to bed, turn your phone off at a certain time, whatever. And I'm laying in bed, on my side, my back's to the door. I got my dog like this, so I know it wasn't her. I have my other hand like this, so I'm like watching the video on the pillow. And I just feel someone just like grab my shoulder, like hard as fuck. And I whipped around and I was like, what the hell? And nobody was there. And my door never opened. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to turn around and go to bed and pretend that didn't happen.
How would you be able to sleep after that?
Oh,
I would not be able to sleep after that.
I wasn't really. I used my dog as a pillow and I went to fuck it. I was like, all right, I'm going to, dude, keep in mind, I'm like 12. And maybe 3 to 4 months later, I was getting up for school. So I'm 13 now. I was getting up for school, and I'm just
It's 3 years later, but you're 13, and that happened when you were 12.
No, I said 3 months later.
Like
3 to 6 months later.
I heard 3 years. I was like, wait, the math isn't.
No. So I was get up. You know, I got up at like 6:30, whatever. I'm chilling there. I usually get dressed in my room. My mom would come in, take the dog, so she could go feed the dog because she was getting ready for work. So she took the dog downstairs to feed the dog. And usually if I'm not down in like 15 minutes, she'll be like, you fell back asleep. So she'll come back up, give me a shake, and be like, dude, get up. You got school. But that day I was up. And it had only been like 3 minutes. As I'm literally getting changed, my door flies open and hits the wall. And I turned around and I went, what the fuck? Well, probably what the hell, because I didn't say fuck like that. But I was like, what the hell? Nobody was in the doorway. I looked to my right, nobody's there. I looked to my left, nobody's there. I grabbed all my clothes and my butt ass in my underwear, grabbed all my clothes, went downstairs and changed in the living room. I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing this. I was like, Mom, this just happened. She goes, I heard the slam, but I thought it was just because, you know, I closed the kitchen door and like a suction in the house. And I'm like, you're fucking acting stupid. Like, no, that shit flew into my wall, made a mark on my wall. That doesn't happen from you closing a downstairs door. Like, because sometimes our doors do move because of the wind, like, that just runs through the house. I don't know why, but it happens sometimes. I'm like, no, fuck that. That did not just happen. And that was the second time. Now,
Oops.
Ronnie, I can't take you seriously without your face. So I don't ever take you seriously. But
you have any other stories rolling?
Not much happened after that. Right? Not much happened after that point. And keep in mind, this is like a year after my grandfather passed, and I just assumed like maybe it's him just like being around. I don't know. But chalked it up to that. Well, I start getting girlfriends. I start having friends come over and sleep over all the time, like more often than usual. We have people stay here. We had freaking locksmiths come here the one day when nobody was home, or my dad was the only one home, and the locksmith was like, as he was fixing our door, just turned around and looked at my dad and goes, "Do you have fucking ghosts?" My dad's like, well, we think so. And he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he just left. Like, we don't know what happened to him.
Based guy.
We have no idea what happened with him. But I've had my girlfriend was sitting here on this couch next to me the one day. I'm sitting like this on this side. She's on that side. I got my hand on her like knee. You know, we're just watching fucking whatever, Star Wars, whatever it was. And she just goes, ow, what the fuck? On the other side from me that I can't reach. And I was like, what? What just happened? Like, what the fuck just happened? She's like, I have no idea. Pulls her fucking sleeve up, and she has like a 4-line scratch with bleeding, like going down her arm. And we were like, oh, fuck that. Well, she lived with me during COVID. And for like maybe that whole time, like, let's say the one night we're drinking and she drank too much and she went to the bathroom. This was the creepiest one to me. This was the creepiest shit to me. Because I assume that could have been like the ghost cat that people have said they've seen in here. Like I could get away with that. I'm like, all right, that's not a demon, nothing like that. But she said she was like feeling like shit. So she went in the bathroom and I was like, do you want me to come with you? Just like be there for you. And she was like, no, you're good. Like this happened to me. You know, I'm good. I'm better off if I take care of it myself. So she goes in the bathroom to throw up. Like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, I hear her screaming my name. And I was like, holy fuck. So I booked it, right? And she's bawling her eyes out. She's like, I thought you were in here. I thought you were in here. I was like, no, you told me to stay out. And she was like, somebody was just massaging my shoulders and like petting my cheek. And then right before I called for you, they said, here's the back massage that he never gives you. And I was like, what?
Nope.
Freaked the fuck out, man. Like,
no, not fucking with that.
she was freaked the fuck out. And I was like, all right, first of all, I've given you back massages before. But, no, okay. But, like, for real, like, it was, like, really fucking creepy. And then I have
weird, bro.
certain people that have stayed at my house that are like, I don't stay downstairs. Like, even some of my best friends are like, I don't stay downstairs. Like, for those of you who know Zach, who's been on the show before, his little brother stays in my room when he comes here. He's like, I do not stay downstairs in the pitch dark. Everybody gets weird vibes at night going into my not basement, going into my living room and shit like that at night. My dog has barked at the corner in the living room like multiple times, looking up at the top corner near the ceiling, and we're like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, yeah, so I live in like a semi-haunted house because it's not here all the time. It's like very random, and you'll just be walking through some area of my house, and all of a sudden you're like, you get a chill. Like you're not even thinking about it. Like I could be thinking about, like I could be literally fucking watching Friday Night Tights on my phone, and I'll walk through a room and just get cold as fuck, and I'm like, all right, dude, like not now, like whatever it is, just chill. But that's not the only girlfriend that's happened to. That's happened to any of like my other girlfriend who stayed here too. Like weird shit has happened to her. And like I said, I had my friend call me. My neighbor called me one time when I was away and my parents were away. And he was like, bro, I'm not sleeping downstairs on your couch anymore. Like this shit's getting ridiculous. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, your house is haunted as fuck. And I never believed in that shit until I stayed here. And to this day, he would tell people my house is haunted. One time we went downstairs and like some of the cabinet doors were just open, but it's like it's never like consecutive. It's always like this will happen once a year, and then it happens.
It picks and chooses. Yeah,
it's really weird, but it heightens every time somebody is here who's in peril. Like when I lost my grandfather, it heightened. When my girlfriend wasn't feeling well and she was dealing with a lot of shit in her life, it heightened. When my cousin came here because he was sick, because he had never like really drank before, but told me he had, and he like downed like way too much alcohol, and I was like, well, you brought it, like it was his, he brought it, and he was trying to act all like, oh, I could do it. I'm like, dude, don't, like you don't need to. He's like, oh, dude, no, I'm gonna drink all this shit tonight. I'm like, you're gonna fucking throw up, bro. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then yeah, like he ends up throwing up. And I hear him say my name in the bathroom. I'm like, yo, brother, what do you need? And he just goes, oh, dude, were you not just rubbing my shoulders? Keep in mind, this is 2 years after that my girlfriend said that. And I was like, nah, bro, not fucking again. Like it's just like weird fucking occurrences. And like I've had people in my house back when I was young and dumb who like You know, like some of them, well, just young. I'm still dumb, but I had some people back in the day who had like been here when my parents were away. And it was just me, and like yeah, we're drinking and chilling, and like some of these guys are fucking tripping balls or whatever, and they're seeing shit and things like that. Like I just there's just a lot of weird fucking things happen in this house.
Is like tripping on like shrooms or like tripping on LSD?
LSD.
Oh, because
It
my
has-
cousin who's
no, it
done
has-
all the drugs and stuff has said when you do the shrooms, you see real shit that makes you question existence. When you do
It's
LSD,
weird because like
it's all fake and he's not even afraid of it.
Well, I could tell
all
you,
of our
bro,
friends all saw like the same creature, but they had like different colored eyes.
and where was that at?
Your house.
It was in my house, in the living room, in the downstairs. And
So basically, what you're telling me is
saw
I
it
need to
too,
bring some
because,
shrooms out there.
again, I did that shit when I was like 15, 16, right? And I see this motherfucker. Like, we had all the lights were off downstairs, 2 sober friends, and the 3 of us took a tab of LSD. And again, this is like
Your whole story is discounted now.
no. No, not the whole story. This is later. This is after.
No, the whole story. Once I hear LSD and ghosts, that discredited.
This is like in
Fake news.
between that whole time period.
Fake news.
So like everything I told you about, like, me getting grabbed and shit was before, and then like after I didn't do that shit anymore was after. And but it doesn't change the fact that my girlfriend had a fucking scratch on her arm from nothing. That literally looked like a fucking scratch, and she screamed for me. Like that doesn't change anything. And I'm showing my friends, right? It's our first time doing it, whatever. And we had all the lights off with some good music playing, and like some not the big lights, but like some cool lights, like rock candles, shit like that, whatever. We thought we were cool hippies at the time, and I had kept the light on upstairs, so the light's coming down the top of the steps, and I walk into the difference between my dining room, like the doorway between my dining room and my living room, and I just see this black figure just down my stairs on all fours, and before I could say, "Holy fuck," it was like at my feet, and it had like. It was crab walking, but opposite, where its stomach was facing the ground. But its like elbows were out, and its hands were like this, and it like walked like that. And this fucker came down the stairs, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, I'm tripping. This is the first time I've done this. Like, I'm probably tripping balls, whatever. And it like looks up. It has no neck. It's fucking round. It, like looks up. It has this white oval for a face, with this big ass toothy grin, like literally like just like triangles. 2 oval eyes like this fucking big with a black slit in the middle and 2 dots like Voldemort's nose. And I'm thinking to myself in that second, oh fuck. But then I'm like, all right, I'm tripping. This is fine. And I turn around and my 2 friends are pointing at it going, what the fuck is that? What the actual fuck is that thing? And I'm like, holy shit, you see it? And my other 2 sober friends are like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And these 2 dudes are literally screaming, going, what the actual fuck is that?
Again, but you all are all on acid.
Only the 3 of us. But I'm just saying, I like my friend Christian, to his credit, was like, all right, you go here, you go here, you go here, and draw what you saw. And we all drew the same fucking thing, but my face was like it. The one I drew had a white face. The one that my friend drew had a blue face, and the one that the other guy drew was a red face. And we were like, all right, that's fucking creepy, but it was literally nearly the same exact fucking picture. Like, it's just, like, I'm just saying, weird shit happens in this house. I know we were technically on a psychedelic at the time, but even if you're all hallucinating, you shouldn't be able to see the same thing.
So,
Yeah,
that's
That's
your
the
house
creepy
reminds
stuff.
me, it's not as much or frequent, but it reminds me of my uncle. He lives up in Portland, and it's actually it's not like a brand new house, but it's not like
I
super
feel
old.
bad for them,
But they had to get a medium, like they didn't have to. And I don't know, I wasn't there. I'm not able to really like, I don't know if I fully believe it, but they apparently they'd have drawers open and like they'd close them and then come back 10 minutes later, knowing that my aunt and uncle weren't in the kitchen at all.
it'd be open again.
Yeah. And so like shit like that definitely happens. It makes me think, especially after the experience I had. But again, I gotta dip out of here. I'd love to hear
Oh, dude, we could do more about this stuff when it's not Halloween. I just figured now's the time to do it.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm just like cut on time. I need to cook dinner and whatnot. I want to hear everyone's story before I leave.
Yeah, I'm done. I have
No, dude, those are good stories.
Me, but
No, those are good stories, dude. Those are creepy, nonetheless.
yeah, it's
hey, stop taking an air breath, Crimson. Keep your mask on. Stay in character. Go on. Who's the next?
I wasn't trying to take it off. I have earbuds up underneath here, and one of them fell out. It was dangling there.
Who's next?
I guess Pilgrim, right? Going around.
All right. Well, I'm glad he went first, real though, because otherwise, compared, like, not that your guys' stories weren't interesting, Roman, Daimyo, but like they're tame. So I'm glad that Rolo went first, so I didn't come off as crazy. Shit. So I've had two major experiences. Like, there's always been weird shit that I've like seen or felt, whatever. And so part of me wonders. So my father, he grew up a missionary in South America. And like he lived out in one of the villages, and like they had like the village witch doctor and whatever. So like I'm sure my dad's seen shit, but he refuses to talk about it. And anytime I've brought up anything like demonic, he shuts it down and kind of like almost says it's not real. But he's also still very devout Christian, and so like I don't know. Like I wonder. I think there could potentially be something there. Anyways, so my first major story was when I moved into this new. So we just moved into a new house, 2020, I think. Yeah, 2020. And I was upstairs alone. I think parents are gone. The rest of the family were downstairs. And I'm sitting in a chair in the living room. And I'm on my phone. I think I'm listening to podcasts or music or something. And I remember seeing one of my sisters walking from upstairs into the laundry room, and I kind of heard them doing like opening the washer and like taking the laundry, doing laundry, whatever. And I didn't really pay attention to it, whatever. And then after 5-ish minutes or so, I don't know how long really, but after a few minutes of it just quiet. And so I looked up and I couldn't see my sister, but I could see her shadow on the wall. And so I thought, okay, I don't know what she's doing. So I just waited a while and it's still just deathly quiet. So I finally got up to look over there. There was no sister. She wasn't over there. And as I'm getting up, the dry door slams open. And so like I book it downstairs, like, where's my sister? Where is she? And she's like, I'm right here. You know, what are you just doing, laundry? No. And so I was like, oh, shit. And so like I have like that's my first like major experience. But so I was kind of freaking out, but also like, okay, well let me think. I didn't actually see it, but the shadow was maybe like light, or like I tried to rationalize it, whatever. Then that night I went to bed, and it was on my thoughts and I was thinking about it, but I was constantly like very like, is this or is that, whatever. And then around like I wasn't able to sleep that night for whatever reason, just couldn't sleep. this tossed and turned all night. And around 3 o'clock, which is supposedly the witching hour, I thought I heard someone making coffee out in the kitchen. And so I thought, oh, maybe someone else can't sleep too. And so like they're making coffee or tea or something. So I got up to go out there. Nothing. Nobody's out there. Like I just heard, like I could hear like the water running. Like I could hear shit moving around. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I hear something fall in the room next to the laundry room next to me. So I just book it straight from my room. I completely forget to close the door. I just book it in my room, like dive in my bed, just lay there for a few minutes listening. And then I slowly turn my head, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a shadow figure, and it's like 9 feet tall, just like creeping around the doorway, just watching me.
Here too, man. I've seen shadow
What?
figures in the corner of my eye.
Oh yeah. After that, like I've seen them everywhere now.
I used to see them at work all the time.
Yeah. And so like I just sat there and just staring at me, and then just disappeared around the corner, and like I didn't sleep the rest of the night. And then so that was my first experience. Shortly after that is my experience sleep process for the first time, and I deal with it regularly. So that's fun. But then my second major experience, and like even that, like so after all of that, I still like I very much believe that demons exist. Don't know about ghosts, but if demons do exist, are they like actually staying around houses and like message with people, or they try to possess them, or whatever? I just think I didn't really try to explain it everything logically, what could have been what, and well, it's middle of the night, so maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, so I didn't actually see anything, or whatever. And then this year, I was at my sister's house. It was actually when they released Return of the King back in theaters.
Oh, sick.
So we went and watched it in Salem, because that's the nearest theater they're showing it. And so we get out, and it's like 11 o'clock, 11:30. I can't remember how late it was. And I decided, well, rather than driving all the way back up to my house, just sitting at her house, which I kind of regret doing. And their house, like I don't remember how old it is exactly. I want to say it's built in the 50s. I know it's older than the 60s, but I think it's the 50s. Could be older. So it's an old house. And it's like in the middle of downtown Salem. And so I mean, go to bed or whatever. And I'm laying on the couch. And as I start to close my eyes, I see this like this child running across the room really quickly. And so like not jump up, like, sit up, look around, and think, okay, my best friend's being half asleep or whatever. But then I started like seeing it again. And then like so at that point I decided, okay, well, shit, I'm not going to sleep now. And my sister, she had seen, like, she's always talked about how like her house was haunted or whatever. And I didn't believe her, but I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I believe that's what you think you see, or I believe that you see that, but I didn't necessarily know how real it was. And it was like that during the entire night. Like I sat and saying that the entire night. I'd see like shadow people like creeping around the corners staring at me. Like I could like some of them were 2D, like almost like fog moving around, and some were like you could see physically there, like 3-dimensional. There's like shadow people moving around corners. There's the child that would occasionally run, like I'd see it running. There's this, I guess, I don't know, thing
do you still see them?
What?
Do you still see shadow shit?
Oh yeah, I still see them now. But it's kind of like what you were explaining, Rollo, like that thing, like this crawl, like in the crab walk. Like I was like, it was like literally like just crawling like around the corner, would stare at me, and then go back around the corner. And so then
It's not that
finally,
they're like backwards crab walk though. It's like their stomach is facing the ground, not their back.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
You just
It's
gave me.
yeah.
I've seen people that
and so
before. People are like, I've seen that shit too, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, shit. Like, it's like I've heard stories about this before, and like I've heard this moves or whatever, but I always discounted it, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure. But yeah, so negative thing, I certain husband come out, and then just see me sitting on the couch, like didn't sleep. I was like, no, I was playing with friends all night. She's like, oh, you met them, cool.
Oh, what?
And so then, yeah, she like I said, she's always been aware of them, and so like after her husband left, because she had to get up to work, me and her just talking about like I was explaining, like start talking with the child, and she knew exactly what I was talking about, and like I was explaining what I seen, she could exactly tell me what I was talking about. And then she said down in the basement. So there's a basement and there's a crawl space in the basement. She said whenever she stands in the entrance to the basement, she has a very strong urge to cut herself.
Interesting.
Like she said, like she could be having a good day or be in a good mood, whatever, and then like she'll be standing in there to clean or something, and then she'll just get this overwhelming sense to like hurt herself. And then she said, and she doesn't know why, but she thinks it's connected to the crawl space. Because so if she's, in her opinion, she's a medium, or she or what they're called, and like I don't know, like even now, like there's some stuff that I'm like maybe I don't know, but anyways, but then there's a fireplace that sits directly above the crawl space in the basement that has about a I think like a tennis ball sized hole in it that leads down to the crawl space. And she said for whatever reason she hates, she just feels some sort of she said she can't describe any other word than evil from like when she looks down the hole in the fireplace. And so then I was like, okay, well now I'm curious, I'm gonna go do it. And so I did it and looked down the hole and whatever, and I mean it was dark, but like I didn't really feel anything weird or anything. And so then I decided, I'd be funny and like start making fun of it or the demons or whatever it was.
Never ever do that.
And then
until it
happens, well,
right?
Yeah. After I was making fun of it, I went to go sit on the sofa, and then I shot up and I could reach my back, and because it started burning, like a burn sensation. And so I was like, oh shit, what is that? And so I reached my back and I could just feel like scratch marks. And so and at that point my sister's in the bathroom, and so she came out and said, like, do I have like marks on my back? So it had 3 scratch marks down from one side of my back to the other. Nothing I could have hit it on, nothing I could scratch it on. Completely, like nothing. There's no reason it should have been there.
Exactly.
But it was. I could feel it. Like I could feel the pain, and I could feel it. Like I could physically feel the scratches on my back with my fingers. And so then after that, I was like, okay, we can leave now, right? Like, and she's like, yeah, we can leave. So we're about to leave, and she goes, oh, and also, like I don't know how much you guys have looked into like, demons or like any of that stuff, but I've always been kind of interested about it. But so supposedly, mares are some sort of portal or gateway or whatever you want to call it, and actually having two mirrors face each other actually creates like a really strong like nexus point, supposedly.
Heard, yes.
Never heard that. I never heard that.
Yeah, like again, like
I've never heard of that
so
one.
I don't know how much of this shit is real, how much of it is fake or whatever. That's just what I've heard was what it's supposed to be. But she said there's this like full like mirror in the hallway. She said that if you look at it, for her, if she's looking at it long enough, she'll see like a face appear behind her.
Mm-mm.
And so I was like, okay, well, we're about to leave, but now I want to try that. Because even though I just gotten scratched, right, and even though I've been seeing people all night, I was still like, okay, well, it could have been this, it could have been that. And I just kept wanting to go and exploring all this. And so then I look in the mirror, and I'm standing there, probably about 30 seconds, just quietly looking, and out of nowhere, I get like this crushing feeling of like negative emotions, like despair. Like I felt like crying, like I felt scared, like all at once, all these negative emotions. Like out of nowhere, like it caught me off guard, like it almost brought me to my knees, just like how heavy and depressing, like it was so weird. And then, but I kept looking, and then I don't even like talking about it. So I see what like the best way I could explain it, and how to later explain to my sister was like, imagine like Gollum from like Lord of the Rings, but his like face stretched out and like almost like his skin melting off his face, and almost like a yellowish color. And then he has like long, like shoulder length black wispy hair.
Yeah,
I saw that like staring over my shoulder, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And she goes, "Did you see it?" I was like, "Yeah, I fucking saw it." And she goes, and so she asked, "What did you see?" And I was about to explain to her, but then said, "Okay, wait, no. Write down on your phone. Write down on your phone what you see." And so we both wrote down on phones, and we see the exact same thing. Like it was like this like long, sunken out, stretched out face that's like melting off its like. And so after seeing that, I was about ready to leave again, but she said there was one more thing you can try. And like, okay, what is it? She said, she goes to the mirror again and waits for him to appear. She said she goes to the bathroom mirror, and it will follow her there. Like she'll see it like pop up there. And so I tried it, and then of course it did. Like went to the Howlett mirror, saw it, went over to the bathroom mirror, and there it was again, staring at me. And like the second time I saw it though, like this was the first time it had eyes, but they were like
sunken in,
almost sunken in, almost like cat-like eyes. This time there was like it's almost like they're sunken back even farther, so you could kind of see them, but they were like sunk, almost like they got pulled in further back.
Yeah.
It's from the first time. At that point, I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm out of here." So I left, and like to that day, like I still don't know. Like even now, like I think I just have a hard time like rationalizing it. But like also, I know what I saw, I know what I felt, both physically and like emotionally, like out of nowhere.
Exactly.
And then like I said, like so I've been raised Christian, always believed in demons, never sure how much they could actually do. But after that, I went like the full force into the Bible, like just reading like anything that everything to do with like spirits or demons, whatever. And one thing that like I don't remember ever hearing about at all was I think it was King Saul. Yeah, I don't remember which kings, but I think it's King Saul. He didn't know what to do, and so he wanted to talk to Samuel, I think it was. So he had, but he was dead at that point, like long dead. And so he brought a medium or witch or whatever to him.
Yeah, I think that was King Saul that did that all.
Yeah, and like she, like literally brought back like the spirit of Samuel, and like he talked to her and like why have you disturbed? Like what are you like? Why brought me back here? And so that was like first time like I ever heard like wait that's like biblical evidence of like ghosts of some sort, like not just demons. Like yeah, so that was a bit of mine. And again like later I brought my dad like, hey dad, what do you think of that? He goes, yeah, I mean it's in there and it's true, but that stuff doesn't happen anymore, and like just kind of discounted it. Which I don't know. I feel like this something that he had experienced. So those are my two major stories. I have one story that's not mine, but that's like equally as crazy.
Tell it.
But you can save it for another day or let someone else go if they want.
I mean, dude, if you got it, if Crimson has time, then
I got pretty much all night. So.
All right, go ahead and tell the story, Pilgrim.
All right. So I'm gonna want to respect my friends who told me the story, the privacy. So I'm gonna be vague of things.
Just call him like Jeffrey or something.
Yeah. So Jeffrey, I almost went to Dharmar. Esther. Okay, they're married. And Jeffrey's at work or whatever, and he has a coworker that's consorting with him. But he's totally unaware to it, like doesn't realize what's going on. And then this was back in the early 2000s, and so like they're all excited because they got the first ever message board or something, and I don't remember what it was. So they got a message board, and like, it was kind of a work chat, but for some reason Esther was there too. And I don't know if she got on because of Jeffrey or Jeremy, whatever his name is. But anyways, and she noticed posts from this woman who is basically telling everyone that she's in love with Jeffrey. But it completely went over Jeffrey's head. Jeffrey's head didn't see it. But then one time, this coworker wrote on the message board that they went to some sort of like spiritual hippie camp, whatever, and she met a woman who's going to give her a spirit guide who would help her get what she wants. The spirit guide's name was Jezebel.
Yeah, that was
and
for sure.
And so later this coworker starts telling on the message board all of these issues that Esther and Jeffrey are having a relationship, that they haven't talked to anybody else, very like intimate details about their lives, and she's just telling on Easter board because she knows all these things somehow. And that's when later she said that she went to this hippie camp, whatever, and her spirit guide was telling her these things. And so of course Esther is like freaked out because like how does she know all this shit?
Exactly.
But then one night she got up and she went to the bathroom, and standing in the doorway was just like this like thing, like again like 9 foot tall like shadow figure, like almost draped in like a cloak or something, just staring over them, watching them. And Esther said like she wasn't scared. She was just angry because she knew what it was and what it was doing there. And so like she screamed and like grabbed at it and just disappeared. And then later that night, then the next day, the coworker of Jeffrey's got a message board, and basically she's quitting. and like she's quitting the job, she's leaving. And then we later found out that like something happened with her spirit guide, and whatever happened, it didn't go well for her.
Yeah.
And like so, I also like so this coworker, like she and Esther are actually friends now. Like her coworker, like the coworker became Christian. Like actually has a really good turnaround story, and like is actually like a turns became a good person, decent person. And they still contact regularly. But yeah, like that was like crazy shit where this person knows these details about their lives and nobody else knew but them. Somehow she knew it.
And they absolutely shouldn't have known it.
Yeah, like there's no way they should have known,
or at least the rest of the stream.
What was that?
So I just had to go back to the costume for the rest of the stream.
Oh,
I
That
have
was
to take
only
the mask
for, like,
off.
the
It is
really-
hot in that thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I took it. But yeah, dude,
Take this off because
that's
it was
some
getting
funny
too
shit,
loud.
man. I totally
yeah.
I believe that. Like I've had some people say some really weird shit to me before.
Well, my aunt and uncle were missionaries over to Mongolia of all places, and they told me some pretty interesting stories about like the shamans they met when they went out in the Gobi and stuff. There's some like the experiences they had with all of that was just
Pilgrim, if you're finished, I was gonna say we should let Crimson go.
Yeah, and I'm done. Yeah, there's like I've got like other smaller experiences here, where like I've seen shit or felt shit, whatever. But like those are my major experiences.
Yeah, those major ones are really fucking interesting though. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to make this just a Halloween thing. Like I feel like it would be fun to get into this topic at points in time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
agreed.
Oh yeah. Like a full episode, or even like a
From saying,
like Daniel's gone now, but like a Into the Rabbit Hole or something about like
yep,
the spirit, like demons, the spirit, like all that stuff. I find fascinating.
yeah,
Same.
I agree.
But yeah,
All right. So,
but yeah, like yeah.
I was gonna say, Crimson, what's happened with what's happened with you? You said that you have some like crazy stuff.
So I have a like compilation of a bunch of like smaller stories, but they're all so concentrated in my area that's kind of freaky.
Okay.
A couple of them even happen in the same places. So like the first one I ever I'll start with myself. First one I ever experienced was I was like 5 or 6 at the time, like going to bed and like everyone was like shutting down. And once all the lights were off in the house, because I can tell when there's a light in the house because of the position of my room, my eyes finally adjusted to the dark, and there was someone standing at the foot of my bed. Just sitting there standing. It basically looked like someone with like a hoodie pulled over. So you could like see where like the hoodie ends, but you can't see their face. And they just stood there, and I literally watched it for like 5 minutes, just standing there over me. And then of course 5-year-old me was just like, all right, I'm gonna pull the blankets over my head and pretend this doesn't exist. And at that point, like I started to actually like I heard it move around a little bit, and that freaked me out enough to like actually look, and it was gone. It was just gone. Never heard the
Crimson.
door open.
Did you see him?
Not something like that, but my cousin has actually seen something like that. That was another story I was going to get to.
Okay, as long as it didn't look like a goat man, it's not Beelzebub. So you're good.
So that was like the first experience I had. The next one was a couple years later. So my grandpa used to like share a part of a farm. Basically, him and another family lived on that farm, and we would spend a whole lot of time out there, especially during the summers. And one night we were out playing, Ghost in the Graveyard. Everyone's running around this farm, and there's a couple of barns there, like that are right next to each other, like in an L shape. And at the intersection there is one street lamp. It's like the only like light pole on the farm in the middle of this country ass place. And I'm walking around because I'm trying to find everyone, and I turned my attention to that direction, and there's like this black looking like dog figure sitting right in the middle of the light, but it's completely like silhouetted out.
Sirius Black.
And it looks at me. Yes. It's not like black fur, like it was like legit like a shadow.
Black shadow, yeah.
Mhm. It looks at me and its eyes are like straight glowing like bright red. And that was the point at which like everything is just like turn back now or something bad is going to happen. So I turned my ass around and went right back to the house. Didn't go
You
in
know,
that
the
direction
black
for the rest of
dog
the
is
night.
a black dog is a sign of like bad omen. Don't come here, type of shit.
Yeah, no, that was like every alarm in my head going off was saying this isn't something you mess with. And like the one of the like that was freaky, but the one that really really messed me up is like one night, like after like doing absolutely nothing all day, so I didn't go to bed in the condition I woke up in, but I had this dream where I was basically like running from some sort of like monster through a woods, and I woke up with like scratches and bruises across my body, like I had been doing that.
Yep.
It was
Sounds familiar.
yeah, it was not a very pleasant experience on that one.
Yeah,
But then it started like we had like a family get together like last year, and everyone's sharing their ghost stories, and like now there's like it's like a bunch of like small towns in like a really close area here, so like
right.
you have people like talking about like, oh well, one time I got home and my stepdaughter like was like, Charlie wants a birthday cake. And he's like, who's Charlie? She's like, well, he's right there. And she points up at the corner. And he's like, can you describe Charlie to me? Because he can't see it. And she basically like describes it as like, you know, like the stereotypical like demonic thing sitting in the corner. But it's just like, yeah. So the dude's like, you know what? I'm not screwing with that. He went to like the nearest dollar store and got a freaking cake. And that was it. I'm not messing with this thing.
Dude, I would have gotten the cake and then I would have left the house.
No, he had to explain to me.
Imagine this, like, there's this demon just like, I'm gonna do a cake. Give me a cake.
It's the cake.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hungry,
It's
Tell me
there's
what-
that, and then like my cousin on this like the same farm where I saw that dog. She was talking about how she because they moved out there after my grandpa moved to another town. She was talking about how like one night she was home alone and that like cowboy figure just started walking across the front porch. Like she could hear it. She saw the silhouette pass in front of the door or the window that was facing out over it and everything. So that was another one.
man.
And then there's also like my mom has told me some of the like stuff because she got into all the like occult stuff before she married my dad. She was talking about how like her friends
I thought she
got
was
out.
into any of that stuff. I thought your mom was like uber religious.
This was before that.
Okay.
Actually went so far where she like married a warlock before she met my dad. So
Oh, I see.
yeah. So she was living on her own, and her friends decided that they were going to do like a Ouija board, but they didn't have one, so like they made their own, like cut all the pieces out. And yeah, so they did it, and they like I forget exactly what the question she said she asked, but she got some like really freaky answers out of it, and she like at that moment was like, "No, what? I'm not doing this. I'm packing it up." So she put it all in a box and like set it somewhere and went to bed for the night. When she woke up, the whole box had been thrown across the room.
Did
You're
it
supposed
spell?
to say goodbye.
Yeah, I don't think it never spelt anything.
I was
but-
just say, how fucking creepy would that be if it was like all these random letters, but like
Mhm.
some of them in the middle of the pile like spelled something? I would.
Yeah.
No.
Another one that my mom tells me about myself apparently, and it's the I think I might have mentioned this, but like she apparently got me like a Pikachu doll when I was like really young, and like on the
think you said
first
this,
night
yeah.
I had the thing. She apparently I told her that the Pikachu doll wanted me to kill her, so she took the thing and burnt it. As
So
any
that reminds
reasonable
I
person
necessarily-
should.
Okay,
I
so
honestly
I don't know.
doing the same thing if my kid was like, if my kid had done. Here's the thing: if it was one time, I'd be like, first of all, how you know what killing somebody is if you're that young? Like, and second of all, like, why are you thinking about it? Third of all,
Right.
if this is another occasion of you telling me that something has happened or somebody has told you something, that's just getting burnt, and I'm calling the priest and he's coming and spraying holy water in all my house's rooms. Like, or I'm moving. Like, kids and animals, bro. Kids and animals.
No, our old dog also
So I
used to
don't-
like bark at random things, and he wasn't like big on barking, but like in the middle of the night, you just all of a sudden hear him just let out like a bark and like a growl, and then nothing.
Dude, my dog was growling at the corner in one of our rooms, like one of our, like, I think it was down in the living room. Like I keep saying, like, and she was at the bottom of the stairs, right? And you know what it looks like, bottom of the stairs where the tray tables are, and she like looked up, and she was in the corner where there's fucking nothing, and she's just sitting there like baring her teeth and growling, and we're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're in the middle of watching like fucking, I don't fucking know, like Big Bang Theory or some shit. The dog just jumps off the couch, runs over to the corner, and starts growling at the corner. And we all were like, yo, like, fuck this.
They see stuff that we don't see, bro.
Children and animals.
Children.
I got a few more here.
Yeah,
so
let's
one
hear it.
is actually my,
But
my brother.
before we continue,
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
so about the Pokemon. So I don't know if this is real. Again, like, so some of the stories that I've heard from people that, okay, like most of the people I've heard from are Christians. So sometimes Christians like to go a little overboard a lot at the time. But so this is from, supposedly this happened from missionaries that my father knew from growing up there in South America. I think he was like down like
Damn, you guys both had missionaries. Family. That's
Venezuela, I think. Venezuela, I think is where's that? Somewhere around there. And this missionary family, so the missions families, they'd always get like shipments in, like from America, with like things like books or whatever it is, to get stuff entertained. And one of the families there got some Pokemon comic books, I think, or Pokemon cards, or I don't know. Are they even comic books? The Pokemon?
Probably. I mean, I saw Legend of Zelda manga at my local
They're
comic
probably
shop.
Manga.
They're probably
They're
a
manga.
Okay.
manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a comic book, or actually, no, I think what it was like encyclopedia of like different Pokemon.
I know those.
That's what it was.
My book fair used to do those things all the time.
And of course, the parents were fine, whatever, cool. Or someone's right at. So he gets to some rubber and he's reading it. When the village witch doctor sees it and starts like, freaking out. And so they go figure out what's going on. And he's able to point to the Pokemon, tell them its name and its powers. And they, he doesn't read English, right? He can't read anything. And they're like, okay, well, how do you know this? And he goes, because those are all demons that I've talked with.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
So again, like
I've heard.
I don't know if Pokemon
like
is demonic or anything like that. I don't want to get all Matt Walsh in here, but
Matt Walsh.
That story. I was like, oh, that is kind of scary.
No, what is a woman though, Pilgrim?
I'm not a biologist. I can't
I
tell
had
you.
sex with Matt Walsh behind a Denny's. I would still be less gay than the average My Hero Academia fan.
That was funny, man. But yeah, that's honestly like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them do depict certain things, because a lot of different.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you start looking at like some of like the designs, like take Gen 4, this is one of the ones that like really like stuck out to me. Infernape is like sort of like themed after some of like the mythology and stuff. I think it's like Sun Wukong and all of that. They do take a lot of
Rayquaza even.
Yeah, design implements from like Asian folklore and stuff like that.
Well, there's one that's South American folklore as well. They have the well, they do have the one that is, I forget the name of the actual creature, but this is South Asian, I believe, or Japanese, and it's the one that has like the bowl of water that's built into its head. I don't remember the name of the Pokemon or the name of the creature.
It's like Lombre or something like
they
that.
They would lure kids into the water and like drown them and eat them, and like that's like a Pokemon. And then there's like some.
Isn't that like also like a Kelpie? I think it's called like a Celtic horse.
That's what it is. Something. No. Kelpie is Celtic.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this one. It literally looks like a duck human, but like its head, like actually, it's kind of perfect. Like imagine if this right here was a bowl, just full of water.
Here, let me think here for a second.
But they do base a lot of their creatures off of like, I don't even want to say mythical, but almost like pagan creatures. Like there's one that looks like a skinwalker, but it doesn't have like an evil looking face, but it looks like a skinwalker. And there's quite a
never mind. I can't.
That I look at and I'm like, that's straight up just this creature. Like Orbeez literally an orb. Like it's an orb.
Yeah.
Or whatever they name.
My browser's messing with me.
Floating colored orb. And yeah, there's some that exist that you're like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back to the ghost stories. So like my brother actually told me one. We were on our way home from our friend's house. We were playing Magic the Gathering that night. And he took a turn, like going the back roads to our home, like the fastest way. And I went through town because I wanted to stop and get something. And we got home and he looks at me like with this like weirded out look, like, dude, I had the strangest experience. So like I was driving and I took that turn onto the back roads into like our little community where we live. And I saw this like thing moving in the grass. And I looked at it and it was me. And then he looked away and then it hit him what it was. And he did a double take and it was a deer in the mirror when he looked back. And so he describes the story to me.
He definitely saw a skinwalker.
I was about to say, this man ran up against a skinwalker.
Dude, I just gotta say, like, when you do a 5-day backcountry hike in the middle of the wilderness, or you're by yourself on like a Boy Scout trip and you are camping like close proximity but not close enough, or you're just in the woods in the middle of bumblefuck for a while, it has nothing to do with the woods itself. It's just like sometimes shit happens you cannot explain. And every single time I've had witnesses for it. Like other people that will corroborate my story. And I had one specific one, man, at Boy Scout camp that just like terrified half of my fucking bunk. Like we were all like, the one dude did not believe in ghosts, and after that he did. So like I do want to get into that, but I want to see, do you have any more? Roman have any more? Because I'll still go around the horn one more time.
That's pretty much everything
That's all I got too.
I've got.
Yeah.
Because like I said, a bunch of small stories, but like everyone in my area has them, and they're all like really like concentrated, and a couple of them happen in the same spot. So
that actually makes a lot of sense though, because that could be like a nexus area.
Honestly, I consider doing some writing projects based on it because I thought it was an interesting concept.
You really should, dude. That'd be cool. Because I'm incorporating some of the shit that I've personally experienced or some of my friends have experienced into. Because quick side note, like the book I'm writing is not just going to be about history. Like it's going to be like spiritual shit, crazy fucking sci-fi stuff, like things like that. So it could fit. Yeah, I can make it fit somewhere. But yeah, I mean, even my neighborhood, we have a lot of people. One of which he died, I want to say a couple years, probably like 10, 15 years ago. There's this old man that just used to walk around, and he would tell everybody he's been seeing ghosts here his whole life. Like, he's like, because I've been here since, the 30s, been living in this town, and just the craziest shit. And there's other older people that have said the same thing. Like, yeah, you see weird shit at night in this neighborhood, or like and it's not just your regular like kids smoking pot at the park, or like somebody walking a dog, or like some weird dude walking from like one side of the street to the other. Like, no, it's like you like legitimately see half a person when you go out for a walk. Like, it's like weird shit I've heard multiple people say about this area. Not to mention the fact that I'm not even 2 minutes from the school where all these kids have reported seeing shit in the bathrooms and stuff like that, where people are hanging or things like that.
Yeah. If
my school, my God.
If I saw stuff like that, I would literally just like, all right, you know what? I'm becoming a monk, so I never have to deal with this again.
Yeah.
But see, I think it's worse when you're in isolation. So becoming a monk, I think it would be much good for you.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, like right behind my school, we have the biggest like amount of woods on our school grounds west of the Mississippi or east of the Mississippi. So my friends and I, naturally, a lot of us are Boy Scouts. What do we do when we want some random place to go for a walk in the middle of the night? Like, let's just go up the street to the high school and just fucking walk around the woods, right? Well, the one time, I think Roman knows this story. There's a train trestle that goes over the creek. So we walk over this train trestle, and the whole time, like, as the five of us are walking, we just hear, like, twig snapping and shit. We just keep all assuming that it was, like, one of us, like, accidentally, like, stepping on a stick and shit like that. We're like, oh, it's whatever. And we walk across the other side. And we're sitting there, like, just walking on the other side of the river, closer to houses at this point. And we just hear this sound from the place we came from. So we got to go back that way. And we just hear this sound, like, it almost sounded like a guttural, like, yeah, ah! Like, I don't even know how to explain the sound. Like, I can't make it. Like, a human can't make that sound. And it didn't sound like a fox, because keep in mind, we're all Boy Scouts, so we know what the foxes sound like. We know what a coyote sounds like. We know raccoon, like all that shit. We're like, this is.
I wasn't gonna say it, Pilgrim. Fuck.
Well, we're like, we've never actually heard anything like this in the woods, and we hike these woods multiple times a week, like all hanging out. So my cousin's dumbass has the bright idea to try and answer back to it.
Oh no.
And it answers again. And then he answers back to it again. And we just hear a splash the size of a human, like, hit the water. And we were like, yo, shut the fuck up, turn your flashlights off right the fuck now. Like, we know these woods, we're getting the fuck back. Like, what was that? Bro, next thing we know, we hear it on our side do the same call, but, like, right down the fucking path. Like, I'm getting chills talking about it right now. Like, literally right, like, maybe 100 yards from us at most. Like, and at that point, we looked at each other and we went, well, we got numbers, but let's book it first. Because there's more of us than there is of whatever the fuck that is. But the fact that it literally, you hear,
As far
like,
as you know.
massive splash go into the water. And then it came over, and we booked it like a half mile back. And the whole time we're hearing, like, not even twigs snapping, like trees getting knocked on, shit actually getting like, and we're like, no, like, fuck this. And we booked it, got back to the car, heard it again before we left the woods. And we're like, all right, we're not talking about this. Because everyone's going to think we're completely fucking nuts or fucking with them. One or the other. And not like a couple months later, Roman knows this story. Does my friend, and these woods stretch really far. Actually, that friend might be listening to this at some point. But he tells me this story. He comes into school. We had 8th period together right before we left. And he was telling me about the fact that him and his girlfriend had gone into those woods on the other side of the creek from the school where she lived. And they walked for like a while. But once you get to the point where they were at, which is just like a clearing in the middle of the woods, and then maybe a couple feet of bushes, and then a small creek, and then like a 90-degree incline. And then behind that, there's like no houses for like a mile or two. And they were in the woods. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And they're sitting there having a fire. It's like him, his girlfriend, their 2 friends. All they hear is this massive splash in this creek. And they're like, what the fuck was that? Like thinking it's like a tree limb or something falling in the creek, because no one's jumping down this incline. Like no one's running down this incline. It's too steep. But they hear this splash as if something big fell in it. And then they just hear someone booking it through the woods, like through the bushes. And before they could all turn around, this woman comes out. She's dirty as fuck, wearing ragged white clothes, and had like scratches on her and shit. And they were like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Like, what the hell just happened? Are you all right? And she goes, what year is it? What time is it? God sent me. God sent me to find you. What time is it? And they were all like,
are you on drugs?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're thinking, right? It's what they're thinking. Like, are you on drugs? Like, are you okay? Like, can we call it? No phones. Like, no, God sent me. God wants me to follow you. He wants me to take you home to him, take you back to the woods. They were like, at that point, they were all like, what the fuck? And she's like talking to them when they're trying.
At that point, you think, well, you know what? We're deep enough in the woods that no one found her body, anyways.
At that point, I'm thinking this is why I always bring a gun into the woods.
Real shit.
Exactly.
But keep in mind, we're like junior year of high school at this point. So they're like, all right, we're leaving. Like, we will call somebody if you want us to, but we're leaving. And she's like, no, I'm following you.
Not with you.
Where do you live? What year is it? Where do you live? I'm telling you, I promise you, God sent me. And she's smiling the whole time. But like a toothy grin. Like, not like a smile.
No.
And she just keeps saying this shit. And she's following them like 10 feet behind them as they're leaving. And then at one point, they whisper to each other, the 4 of them, like, all right, on the count of 3, we're going to book it. Everybody run for your fucking life till we get to the edge of the woods. They start booking it, and all they hear behind them is just, like, start running. Like, she just broke into a sprint and was chasing them, and they're running. And as my friend's telling me the story, he's literally fucking tearing up and shaking. He's like, dude, like, I was terrified for my life. And they're running, and she's screaming, and he goes, Roland, it was a sound I've never heard a human make. It was not a human sound. And he's freaking out telling me this story. Like, I can tell it's giving him trauma just by telling me this story. And he said they made it to the edge of the woods as she's like gutturally like screaming behind them. She stops at
that's some demon shit. No,
she stops at the edge of the woods. She does not leave the woods. And they just kept running across the field to their cars. And they said she stood there at the edge of the woods and was just screaming, like gutturally, like at the edge of these fucking woods, like she couldn't leave them. Keep in mind, she's telling them that she wants to bring them farther into the woods. And she's asking them what year it is, where they're from.
That's either like real demonic shit or like one of the best pranks ever pulled.
Dude, that's a skinwalker. What do skinwalkers do? First of all, skinwalkers, the the legend comes from our area. And second of all, they want to learn. They ask you questions, more and more questions. And until they can literally learn and take your fucking it be you. And then they're in society. They need to do that first, apparently, according to the Native American lore. So he goes, I swear to God, it must have been like it was either a demon or a skinwalker, but this woman was not, and she wasn't dressed like she was from this time either. Like she just had like he said she had like a white clothes on and like a white dress or something. Like, but he was like she was booking it in this barefoot. She had no shoes on. Like, she kept trying to get us to go farther into the woods. Like, fuck that. And this is literally a couple months after my cousin's calling after this fucking thing that jumped into the water. And I'm in the same stretch of woods, it's just in a different place. I'm like, all right, fuck that. Fuck that. And that's not even the last time some weird shit happened in there. Like,
that would be enough to keep me out of the woods for the rest of my life. I'm just saying. If that
right.
shit happened to me, I would be like, I'm not going in there unless I am packing.
Oh no, he never went back to that section because it was like maybe half a mile down from us, from like where we usually went to. But we had a campfire back there, so like when we went down with like 20 people, we were like, "Fuck this, we'll fuck the bitch up." You know what I mean? But like, it was, yeah. That story still gives me chills because I've never seen him legitimately that flustered. And Roman knows the guy, so he knows that he's not really that flustered very easily. And we were in the middle of class, like as class is starting, and he's telling me this story. And he's like, I could see him literally like, dude, like this shit freaked me out, bro. Like, I believed him 100% because I'm like, you just get that feeling from somebody when you know they're not lying. When you know they're not fucking with you unless they're like the best liar in the world. Like, you just get that human energy of like, this person means what they're saying. That was that. And his girlfriend was in the same class and she corroborated it. And I asked the other two people and they also corroborated it.
That's wild.
And I'm like they literally thought they were about to get fucking murked. They were like, yeah, we're done. If one of us stops running right now, we're going to die. So we have to book it out of here right now. Because she kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer until they just booked it. Even though she just was like slowly following them from like 10 feet away, then she started following them faster and faster until she was like close enough to behind them that they just went, we're out.
It sounds like that literally sounds like an Outlast game, bro.
Dude,
it
it
sounds like an
does.
Outlast game.
It's straight
Yeah,
up.
that's some scary shit, and I am glad my bed is up in a loft.
Yeah, right?
So that reminds me of another story. If you've got time,
I have time.
Yeah, it's fine.
but so again, like this came from my sister and her husband, someone who had that house, and
Is that what her name
part of
was?
me doesn't believe them. What?
Say her name was Esther. Is that what it was?
No, no. This is my sister.
Oh,
And she, part of me doesn't believe them because, yeah, I totally expect them to make up a story like this just to mess with me. But at the same time, like, it's been over 2 years now, and they've kept it up this whole time, and like, no details changed whatsoever. But so her and her husband, is before they got married. So at that point, I think they've just been dating. They're on a walk or just around here in the neighborhoods, and I think it was about 11 o'clock. They're out on a walk, and they're about 5-6-ish minutes from our house, and they see, so there's walking river, and then my sister, she just looks up and freezes, and her boyfriend keeps didn't want to continue walking, and stops and looks back and sees her, and she's just staring dead ahead, and so he looks up too, and across the street, I don't know how far away, like they see, I don't know, 50 feet, 60 feet. I don't know exactly. I'm bad at estimating because they showed me exactly where it took place. They saw first what appeared to be this woman in a white dress, like all white, like tall, like I think they said like 7, 8 feet tall, like on a long white
Oh,
dress, like all white hair, like
that.
white skin,
Fuck that.
just staring at them. And so then
that tall.
what?
I said no woman is that tall, 7 or 8 feet.
Well, hardly any men are, right? And so
Yeah, it don't matter whether it's a man or a woman. If they're that tall,
yeah.
it's a little
If you're that
unnatural.
tall and skinny wearing a white dress, I'm fucking going the other direction.
Yeah. And so she starts to turn around, walking away, but then a boyfriend comes, gets her, or whatever, and it's the closest to get our house. Continue going forward, so they continue going forward. But as they turn back around to get to our house, it's no longer a girl, but no longer just a girl. It's a girl riding a white horse. And all of a sudden, her expression changed from just like a blank expression to almost like like sad expression, just staring at them, and almost like if she's drugged or something. So now there's this horse, this woman on this horse that's like just looking like she's drugged, just staring at them. And so they continue on walking just to our house, and then the horse starts walking slowly down the road, and then they can hear like the
clip clop.
The clip clops of the horse, the footsteps walking away. So they run into our house, grab me and my sister, and like, hey, you guys wanna go for a drive? Like, sure, cool. Let's go find this demon horse. Like, cool, what the? And so they're again, so they're about 5 minutes from 5 minutes walking away from our house. If that. And they at that point they decided to book it and run. So they made it probably in like 2-3 minutes to the house. They explained probably within 30 seconds, and we're out the door in the car. And I'm driving up there.
Actually, look when they came in. Did they look like they were exasperated? Like they were like they just.
Yes, they were. They're out of breath. They were like,
sweating, cold face.
Like sweating, like pale face. Like they were genuinely scared. But again, like part of me, like I could also see them, like they're the type of people who would run, just to hold up the prank.
You don't go past that though, man.
And if you hold your breath, you probably could. And
can't hold your breath.
So we got in the car, drove down, couldn't find it anywhere. We drove around the neighborhoods, drove around everywhere for like 10 minutes, no sign of it whatsoever at all. And then, like, to this day, like, they haven't changed the story or anything. Like, it's every detail is exactly the same. And that's one thing that they as they're running away, she noticed that she realized like, wait, like how come we didn't hear like if there's a horse? Like she thought maybe like it was just the way that like it was standing that it just looked like a tall lady, and it was actually a horse the whole time. But then how come they didn't hear the horse until after they'd already seen it? Because it was a quiet night, like 11 o'clock, right? So it's not like there's a lot of other extra noise.
And if the horse is on concrete, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
You'll hear it. You'll hear it even make one step. And if it's a horse, a horse will just simply clap its feet for no fucking reason.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
And they ain't exactly stealthy creatures, are they?
Yeah, like
all of my experiences
on a horse at that time of night. Horses,
but that's just like, we do also like there is like a horse ranch, probably 10 minutes away from where they're at, just outside our city. Like just outside our city is a bunch of farmland and everything. So maybe it's like there is an area where the horse could have came from, right?
But
it's not. It's totally. Yeah, And then
Still
but
ain't
all, like
7 feet
all
tall.
of this shit, like everything I've experienced, has all happened after we moved to this town, to this little city. And last week when I like mentioned my like how I pretty much have nightmares, um, usually like it's nightmares that like kind of like those like that I I don't know if you guys remember like the Outlast games you guys mentioned. Like, those are the games that X used to play, right? He's played on
Yeah,
the channel.
I think X played him.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like among nightmares about like this town being like a burning them at the stake, like, Christian, like burn the witches, destroy the demons, like sacrifice the humans, like I've had like recurring nightmares like that of this town ever since I moved here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of freaky.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky.
I've had some dreams that have really freaked me out, and some that have they were like really vivid and then ended up coming true like years later. But
That's
never had
wild.
recurring dreams like that.
Yeah, man, that's definitely something else.
I had a really fucking wacky, like, recurring dream when I was younger. That was like the mother alien from Alien. And it just kept like fucking coming down my neighborhood, and like I fucking killed it one night. And I was like, I never had the dream again, but it was like recurring for like a week. And I was like,
That sounds like a badass dream, actually.
no, it fucking
That's
wasn't,
cool
because
dream.
I would just be outside playing. I'd be outside playing Manhunt, and Roman, you know what the backyard of my house looks like, right? I'm in the front yard, and I look down the side of my house on this way, near the window,
Mhm.
and I just see this motherfucker like creep over and just book it at me, kill me every fucking night for like a week. And I like told my dad. My dad was like, "Just fucking kill it." And then that night, I had a dream where I just fucking killed it. That's how I just like imagined it done, and I just fucking worked it. Like it works.
Yeah.
I had a dream again,
But yeah, I've always had recurring dreams like about different things, like and like, in ways those are
yeah.
like even if they're not necessarily nightmares, I say recurring dreams are almost as worse because at least for me, I'm aware when I'm dreaming.
Yeah, I lucid
and so like oh I got lucid dream all the time too. But like when I have a recurring dream, I would know like, oh shit, this is gonna happen. Like I'm like one of them was like this like trying to think like the best way I could explain it would be like an Pan's Labyrinth, you know, that monster.
Oh my god, that movie is fucking nutty.
Like with the hands, like the eyes and the hands. Which I hadn't watched Pan's Labyrinth until a few months ago after Daimyo told me to watch it.
Wait,
but
you had a recurring dream about that fucker beforehand?
Well, not exactly like that, but it looks similar to that.
I was gonna say, what the hell?
Right, but a lot thinner and like more like lean.
Yeah,
but it was also like,
called. Is that the glutton?
Like,
is that what they call him? Because he has the
or something like that. Yeah, but
like
also it is like blue and like scaly and like covered in like just like slime and like hair. And I'd have a recurring dream about that scene, like just like going on like a murdering rampage through my neighborhood, like watch as like it literally like ripped out my father's heart, like with its bare hands, and just rip his heart out. And I'd had that recurring dream every night for months. And every time I had the dream, like I knew there's absolutely nothing I could do to change it. I could change small things here or there, but I could not change the outcome. They make major outcomes.
You ever killed it?
No. It always got me until I think eventually I just stopped having nightmares at some point.
You can kill it.
I tried. Like that thing, I rammed it, like I ran over it with a car, like a truck, like rammed into it, and, like squashed it. Like it should have been dead, but it wasn't.
Imagine like a cross or something and fucking shove it down its throat.
Right. But like I haven't had that like dream in like 10+ years.
Yeah.
No, after talking about tonight, I'll probably have it again tonight.
Well, if you do have it again, which I hope you don't, but if you do, think of the fact that you're gonna kill that motherfucker and delete it. Because
Yeah, well,
all right, you just made me think of something. What if recurring dreams with creatures like that is actually like a legitimate? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. No pun intended, but a legitimate like demon or creature that's attached to you, like the shit that I told you I saw, like the shadow people, like shit like that. What if when you kill that shit in your dream, if you're able to lucidly kill it in your dream, it goes away?
yeah, like I've thought that too. Like, I think, like, I don't know how. Like, I think there is some sort of connection between like dreams and the spiritual world.
I'd agree.
I mean, even like Roman in your story with the white and red cars, like there's weird shit like that all the time. Where I think there is some sort of spiritual connection to dreaming in some one or the other.
Oh, I 100% agree.
And I mean, like, the other story I told about my friend Esther and her husband, whatever we called him, Jeffrey. Like her story, like she thought she wasn't mad, she wasn't scared, she was angry, and she reached out to grab it, and like never saw it again. And so again, like it's not that I don't think that like it's demonic demons or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's something that's like that we can't wrestle with or that we can't take care of. I think what it is I think the more you give into fear and give into like negative emotions or whatever, the more control it has. Or, well, yeah, the more control it has over you mentally because yeah, you're scared of it, but also maybe even somehow spiritually, it can somehow have more control over you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're basically giving it control over you when you give into that.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
I mean, and then that's what a Ouija board is. Like that's like an invitation. Hey, communicate with me.
No, that's why I absolutely don't mess with those under any
Yeah,
circumstances.
because what you're doing is
lucky
you're
enough to
telling,
have
hey, this demon, why don't you come and through me write out this message from on the board? You're inviting it into yourself to control your body.
Exactly. Like it would drive by and it would play some weird song. It's not really scary, but for some reason it used to scare the fuck out of me. For some reason. Twice. And it would appear in my dreams to spook me.
What?
Hello, governor!
Oh, you got a driving license?
Yeah, from regular show. It's like, hello, governor! Every single time. Just
Speaking of sleep, boys, I gotta be up at like 5 o'clock. So if y'all have any more stories, feel free to share. But then like
yeah, let's do a quick run through real quick. It's a quick one. Let's rapid fire.
Well, I don't have any, so
yeah, you do.
Roland,
you have.
I had a dream once where I don't know if it was like paralysis, like sleep like paralysis, but like my door, like my bedroom door was kind of like how there's like the see-through glass like prison doors. So like, you could my like bedroom door had like turned into that. And like I was like, awake, but this like dude walked up to the window, put his hands onto the glass and started screaming. And it lasted for me being awake for hours. And all I saw was like bloodshot green eyes, and his eyes were like glowing green. And that's never left me ever. And all he would and he would like, scream for like, 45 minutes. Then he would say, hello. And then he would scream for like another 30 minutes. And then he would say, I need help. And then he would scream. and it lasted for like 3.5 hours. And I was 9 years old, and my mom told me to write it down. And it has not terrified me, but I never want to go back into sleep paralysis because I I don't know what I saw, but
Dude, it's not
to
fun.
to this day, it's 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 it it still scares me. Like it still scares me.
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. So that's how I'm gonna wrap up my thing. That's how I'm gonna wrap it up.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let's think real quick. You know what? I'm gonna go with. Should I go with my UFO story, real quick?
Yeah, tell it. Yeah.
So I didn't tell it last year. So I was in this room. It's probably 3 years ago now. I'm in this room all by myself, and it's about. Well, here's the thing. I was playing Xbox all night. The TV's like right in front of me, right? So I fell asleep on this couch, and I wake up to the whole room like the whole room was like this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I wake up like, what the fuck is that? Like I never turned my lights on, right? And so I have a window right here. But my shades were down, so I like get on my knees because I noticed the light is coming through there. And I get on my knees and I lean over and I look up and I shit you not. I see. Oh, first of all, when I woke up, the clock is right in front of me. So the first thing I saw when I woke up was the clock, and it said 2:34. And I'm looking out this window, and everything is just, I'm almost like blinded, right? I'm like, what the fuck? And I see a traditional, like, flying fucking saucer. Like, one circle in the middle going clockwise, the other one going counterclockwise, and it's just fucking sitting there. And my whole backyard, my neighbor's backyard, my other neighbor's backyard, lit up like it's the sun, like bright as day, literally bright as day at 2:34 in the morning. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, all right, I'm dreaming. Like, what the fuck is this? And then I just hear. Literally hear, but like as if it's the voice in my head just going, you shouldn't be seeing this. Go back to sleep. Now's not the time. Go back to sleep. You shouldn't be seeing this. And it like repeated, but it was a deep voice, like, go back to sleep. You shouldn't be seeing. Like it was like really deep and got like in my head. And I'm like, what the fuck am I witnessing?
Morgan Freeman.
Bro, next thing I knew, I woke up.
You need to go back to sleep now. No, that's
Well,
Morgan
I'm just
Freeman, bro.
I'm just telling you, the next thing I knew, I was in my bed. And I looked at the clock. I was like, oh, that must have been a crazy dream. Well, now it was 3:34. Or no, yeah, 3:34. I was like,
They probed you.
I was like, what the actual fuck? Here's the weird thing. I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying I totally believe it. But I woke up with a burn on my arm I still have a scar from. And it bubbled. It was like a bubble-ish burn. And it's up
Like
here.
a blistered.
And no, dude, it was like a burn. Like, and I know that because I'm trained in fucking first aid and all this shit. And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? So I wake up. The first thing I do was I go to my oven. I'm like, maybe I sleptwalked again for the first time in the past like 17 years. Maybe I sleptwalked for whatever reason. I reach my arms all the way to the back of my oven. Doesn't even reach up to where the burn was.
Jeez.
I check all my fucking lighters. I'm like, none of this would burn me. I can't just sit here with a light. Like, it wouldn't do that. It would be make something else. It literally looks like a surgical slice. Like, I'm just saying, dude, it's fucking creepy. And here's the thing. I know I wasn't dreaming because you can't tell time in your dreams. because your brain doesn't know what fucking time it is.
That literally proves it.
And-
Actually, I remember that from an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm like, so I was like, okay, I must have dreamt that. Like, that's wild. And then I noticed this fucking thing on my arm the next day. My girlfriend's like, all right, that's really weird. Like, I don't know where that could have came from. But she believes in like a lot of this shit too. But she was like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane. And my friend came over and he was like, dude, you can't tell time in your dreams. Like, what the fuck? I was like, holy shit, you're right. I didn't even think about that. But the voice I heard in my head was not my own. Like, that shit was legitimately something, like a different fucking voice.
Yeah, I've heard voices like that too.
And I'm not saying I got abducted or anything like that. I'm just saying, whatever the fuck happened, I heard some deep ass voice that spooked me in my own head, not in my ears, in my own head, telling me, go to sleep, you shouldn't be seeing this. And next thing I know, I wake up in my bed an hour later with a fucking bubbling, hurting scar on my fucking arm that I still have a scar from to this day. Like, I would show it to you, but it's kind of hard right now. But I will at some point. But that's like up here on my arm. But it's just really fucking weird. And I had seen UFOs and shit before, but here's the thing. This area of Pennsylvania is considered one of the hot spots for UFO sightings. So there's actually a forum that you can look up like what people saw at certain nights. A ton of fucking people reported UFO sightings that night. And that's just one of my UFO stories. That's the one that made me fully be like, that wasn't a dream. That shit was fucking weird. Like, I have no explanation for it. I believe in UFOs and shit. I have a lapse of time, but I don't believe I was abducted. I don't know. All I know is I heard a voice in my head that scared the living shit out of me. And next thing I knew, I was in my bed. Like, it's fucking, it's creepy. And I will never forget it. I can see it. I can see it clear as day right now. But then after I hear the voice tell me 3 times, you shouldn't be seeing this, go back to bed, I remember nothing until waking up in my bed. And it was like a whole hour to an hour and a half later or something. It was just, oh my God, it was fucking, that's something else. That was something else. Like, and I've seen UFOs in the sky because I can't identify them. So obviously it's an unidentified flying object. Like, I've seen that shit out in the middle of Bumblefuck. I've seen some weird lights. I've seen things, I was telling you of the shit that I've seen in the woods when I'm at different places. But like, this was different. Like, I've never seen, it looked like a massive LED was lighting up our backyards. And then when I went and asked my neighbor if he saw anything, he's like, I got woken up by a light the other night, but I don't know what it was. He's like, I just fell right back to sleep. And I was like, you're not helping me right now, bro. I was like, you're not helping me. Like, it's creepy shit. Like, maybe they put like an Order 66 chip in me or some point. Like, I don't know. But
you have been probed.
It will be done, my lord. But my ass still feels fine, so.
Did Fox Mulder pay you a visit at any point shortly after that?
Dude, I fucking wish. That would be cool. But no, I'm telling you legitimately, like, whatever the fuck happened, I know what I saw. And I know I was not dreaming when I saw that shit. Like, because I was into aliens and everything like that, but, like, not, like, to the point that I am now, which, like, that happening has really delved me into shit. And I don't know what happened. All I know is I'm sitting there looking out the window on my knees, like looking at this thing going, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden I wake up in my bed after hearing a voice in my head, which sounds completely fucking insane. And I know that, but I have no problem saying it because I'm like, I know what the fuck I saw. And I don't even know what to believe about it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm going out here saying like, oh, I was this happened, like, oh, about it's like I literally don't know. That's just a memory I have in my head that I cannot forget, and I see clear as day. That's simple. Like, I don't even know what
That's
the fuck to
wild.
believe about it myself. I really don't.
That one's yeah. I've heard too many stories from credible people about like all their UFO sightings to really doubt that that stuff exists. So like I hear these stories and I'm just like I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate that I've never had these kinds of experiences, just sort of the minor like temporarily terrifying paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Like, and the weird thing is, it didn't really hit me with the gravity until somebody, like my friend, literally said, like, dude, remember, you can't tell time in your dreams. And that's when it hit me. He was like, dude, you went white. Like, him and my girlfriend were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm just thinking about that now. Like, I thought it was some crazy dream. And they were like, you can't tell time in your dreams. And you ended up waking up in your bed, like, in different clothes. You were in your, like, underwear and your pajamas and shit. And you wake up with a fucking burn. Like, and I was like, it was like the fucking Guts music from Berserk.
Guts theme, yeah.
I was like, like, dude, like, it's just, it was so unexplainably wild.
That is crazy, bro.
Like,
That is
Crazy ass world.
that was, but yeah,
Pilgrim
like,
Crimson.
Pilgrim and
Do you
Crimson.
two? Do you two have any more?
Yeah, I've got one more. Like, it's not creepy, but it's like a spiritual story. It's actually a good one.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Sure,
Doesn't
yeah.
have to be creepy.
So I think this is a story my dad told me. I think it's some family, so like a friend of his, they had two older daughters. I don't know how old exactly, but they're old enough to drive. And they were driving down. They were going off to the store somewhere, so they drive down the road. And the mom was in the kitchen doing dishes when, in the back road, she heard this crash. And she was first instantly scared that it was her daughters. So she took off running, and she turned the corner, and sure enough, saw that it was her car. Their car, like, totally wrecked into another car. Her two daughters were just sitting on the sidewalk next to it. So she ran up to them, and she's like, and they haven't scratched, there's nothing. And they were just sitting there kind of dazed until she walked up to them. And then they looked at her and started looking around and goes, where's the man? And she's like, what man? The man in the back of her car. And she's like, what are you guys talking about? That right before they crashed, in their rearview mirror, they saw a man just sitting in the back of the car, staring at them, like in a white gown, like it had almost like it's glowing white, like a white gown, staring at them, smiling. And then they crashed, and all of a sudden they woke up. They were on the sidewalk, totally unharmed. And then the other guy died, got wrecked because he was in a fallen collision course. So,
I mean, dude, that I've heard stories about that. From what I was talking about earlier with the Jersey Devil. In the Pine Barrens, there's this highway that honestly I want to drive down. Because it's called the Haunted Highway. You can look it up.
Is this the one where all the people go missing?
No, this is the one where people report that they have all of a sudden a semi truck will be coming at them, and then it'll disappear right before it hits you, or somebody will appear in the back of your car, or somebody will appear in front of your car and you hit them, and then you stop your car. There's no one there, and there's like known by the government. There's known like booby traps and shit. Like I said, there's that church in the middle of the fucking woods for no reason, and that's where the Jersey Devil came from and shit like that. Like, so it's like the haunted highway, and I would literally live stream driving down that. But I feel like live streaming it wouldn't do anything. I feel like nothing would happen if I was live streaming it. You know,
Tends to be the case, right?
yeah.
You try to capture it on camera, and it almost never pays off.
Well, I could always just tell
So-
people to go drive down the highway, and if I never come back, that should probably pay off.
So I guess the question is, Crimson, do you have anything else?
I mean, I could pull like a bunch of random stuff off the top of my head, but I won't. None of it's really going to be all that exciting or as great as what you guys have to say. So I'll leave it at
Well,
that.
do you have anything else that didn't happen to you or anybody in your area that you want to talk about? Anything cool?
I mean,
it doesn't have to be fucking anything crazy. Just like,
I've always had like a sort of like inclination to look into some of these like supernatural things because I don't know whether it's just for like thrills or whatever. I don't mess with the Ouija board or any of the
Oh, fuck
demonic stuff,
that.
but like I hear stories about like there was one that I heard over the internet, so obviously take this with a grain of salt, but there was this guy telling his
Bible source, yes.
yes. There's this guy telling his story about how he like drove down like this road and his GPS tried to take him basically down a road that didn't exist. And later he came to find out that it was like this highway, apparently, this like section of road where people go missing on all the time. But the actual story that was told there was a whole lot better, and I'm just kind of like trying to pull the pieces back out of my memory.
No,
That's
man.
all I got. I
so
ain't got anything else more.
I think to that point, well I want to make Monday Night Mayhem like a recurring show where we just go into spooky shit, conspiracy shit, alien shit, whatever the fuck it is. And if any of you guys want to come on at points in that time, because most of the things we do on Daimyo's show, Into the Rabbit Hole, we do a lot of ancient like civilizations and things like that. We don't get into like this topic every week, so I'm thinking maybe if Roman's down once a month, we do this show.
I'm down for it.
I'm dressed up every time, but once a month we do this show on a Monday. Let's make it like the fourth week of every month. We'll just do 2 streams a week and talk about this shit. Have different people on. I mean, not that you guys can't come on every time. Of course, you're welcome. But like, try and get more people on with their stories or like things like that. And
I know X-Men has some crazy stories. You should try to get him on.
that's what I've been trying to do. So I know he would.
No.
If I talk to him, I just gotta let him know what the idea is, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I can talk to right now that would come on and talk about this shit. So if Roman's down, if you guys are down, if the chat likes it, if people like this show, I would like to do it more. I feel like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The supernatural stuff always intrigues me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, Curbson, you're welcome anytime.
Of course.
But I mean,
I want to thank everybody for coming out
before
tonight.
we
I know
discuss
this
it out, I
is
want to have everybody plug their channels. So we can
well.
get more
I'll
views.
just say, I'll just say, you guys all know where to find me. All of the links to all of my other channels are literally in the description. You just have to click, and you guys know where to find me. Rolo, you have anything that you want to plug or?
It's just Rolo_films on Instagram at the moment, or Rolo Films on YouTube. I don't have any videos up yet, but you can go and check it out. Be one of my first subs. I'll give you a little peck on the cheek for it if you want. No, but yeah, I mean, if you want to see some cool anime edits or like the way that I do, my edits or thumbnails, shit like that. Music videos. I do a lot of music videos for like local bands and stuff. So you can check that out on Rolo_films on Instagram. And other than that, I mean, I just want to be the one to say thank you to everybody for being here tonight. Of course, we had a lot of fun, and it's always just a wild time on our podcast. But I think this one was a really cool idea. I'm glad we did it. And other than that, just to everybody watching and everybody here, like, thank you. And to our guests, Pilgrim, Crimson, Daimyo, like, shout out to all you guys. And shout out to the mods who were in here, and fuck Ronnie. But, like,
I considered banning him just for the kicks of, or not banning him, timing him out just for the kicks of it, but
man, Ronnie's been beaten down like a dead horse today.
Yeah, right. But anyway,
Well,
you guys want to plug?
Personally, yeah. Pilgrim Crimson, you guys want to plug your channel or?
Go and subscribe to Crimson Law, motherfucker.
I was about to say, you can find me on YouTube, Crimson Law. I'm either kicking up the hornet's nest or talking about some like new, obscure, dumb anime or manga I found.
Dude, and I gotta do the anime video at some point.
I have actually something I want to talk to you about at some point. So
let's talk in the back room after this.
Yeah.
All right. Pilgrim, you want anything you want to plug?
Subscribe to Dan Bask, great singer. Get him to 1 million subscribers.
Yes, let's go.
Make Gary wear a man bun.
I just want to see Gary sing a Bruce Springsteen song, dude. I need to see, but I also want to see Dan Vask.
No matter who wins, we all win.
We all win. That's the best part about it. Roman probably doesn't even know about this. So, Gary from Erotic and Dan Vask, amazing fucking. First of all, actually, yes, you probably should subscribe to Dan Vask. He's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But Dan Vask, just randomly tweeted at Gary from Erotic and was like, "Hey, if I make it to 1 million subs before you have to sing a Bruce Springsteen song." And Bon Jovi, that's what it is. And Gary
hates Bon Jovi.
Yeah, he hates Bruce Springsteen too, so it like fucked me. But Gary was like, "All right, if I win, I'm gonna write a song about how gay man buns are, and you have to sing it in your rock voice and making a legitimate song out of it. So whoever gets to 1 million first, man, we're gonna win. We're gonna win no matter what."
And then Dan Vask right after that drops like one of the best covers of Amazing Grace I've ever heard, and
so
like, skyrockets up there.
Yeah, it's Amazing Grace cover. Like, seriously though, if you like good rock music, definitely do check out Dan Vask.
Yeah,
his cover of Zombie.
Oh my god, dude!
For the Cranberries, better than the original in my opinion.
Zombie is so good.
I want to thank everybody for watching and happy Halloween. And don't eat too much candy. Peace out.